Yo, what's going on, everybody? All right, we are back with another live stream, and this is a topic that everybody all over online is talking about and is making headlines. Very important. I know a lot of people are interested with this topic. This is why I am talking about it tonight because this is something that we all are watching and keeping a close eye because these things are happening. Make sure to hit that subscribe, share the video. Let's get into it because tonight's going to be a nice, juicy topic with this. All right. Will WBD sell? That is the big question that everybody's wondering. Everybody's straight up wondering, speculating, and thinking about what is going to happen. This is going to be something good, like I said. And of course, this is all going to be speculation, my friends. None of this is solid, but at the same time, things are shifting. And remember, I've been telling y'all, things are going to shift here on out, especially with the way the situations are going with WB and how everything is going downhill over with that company because it's something very important and at the same time it's something very concerning. So it's very interesting to see the times that we're living in and seeing how all of this is taking place. So with that being said, again, hit that subscribe because we will get into it. And while we wait for these notifications and all this goodness to be going out, we will be looking at comments and all that good stuff. So make sure also while you're at it to go ahead and show your support for my upcoming comic book releasing September 30th, Rebel Defenders. It is almost ready. It is literally at 90%. I'm wrapping up a few things and it should be ready in a few days before release date for only $4.50. That's it. You cannot beat that, my friends. That is a hell of a deal. And especially if you love what Zack Snyder was doing, Zack Snyder's the blueprint, and so is David Ayer. That's what I'm using for inspiration on this comment. So let's get into it. So let's check out some comments and let's see what's going on. What's going on? Appreciate you for watching. Yes, sir. You already know. Hey, yo, you already know it. Hey, so what's up? How I'm doing today? Good, chilling, chilling. Just here hanging out with y'all and stuff like that. Light skin, what's up? You already know it. We're right here chatting, talking, hanging out with y'all. So far, weekend is good. Just been working on that comic. It's almost ready to go, and I can't wait. Been very, very excited to finish that up. Oh yeah, Paramount by Warner Bros. Discovery fired James Gunn, restored SnyderVerse, Michael Bay Transformers. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We're gonna talk about a lot of good things tonight, honestly. I don't know how long today's video is going to be, but we are going to talk about some things. Honestly, I don't even have a time limit tonight, so I'm just chilling and vibing with you on stuff. So ask all your questions and everything because we will be looking at them. Restore the Snyderverse. Comcast Universal must take over. I agree with you, my friend. You already know. New Comic Con comment writer, Zets, California. Nice, nice. All right, I'm definitely getting the book, bro. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yes, is pretty much ready to go. So I'm just finishing a few things, and probably in the next few days it should be a done deal. So today I actually finished all of the pages. Now it's time to go ink and then do the cover, and that's it. It's a wrap. Ready to go out there. They fired that creature at DC. Oh, we're gonna talk about that. You will see. Gun is out. Ounce Paramount officially purchased. Thank God. We will see right now. Hope Snyder could complete the vision for DC. Oh, he will. I'm telling you right now, he will. Paramount, Comcast, Universal, or Netflix. Yeah, you know it. Hell yeah, restore the Snyderverse all day. You already know, my friends. If Paramount buys WB, that means there is no longer six studios in Hollywood. There will be two big studios. Yep. All right, so look, let's talk about this and let's speculate, all right? Will WB Discovery sell? That is the question that we've been talking about for years. And with the way that things are going, let's face it. Let's say it how it is. Ever since James Gunn took over in 2023, things have been going downhill. Along with Peter Safran, the studio has been suffering. And financially, they haven't been in a situation that's been good. Everything has been going down. Nothing has been working. Sure, you had a few movies here and there, like Barbie, Dune, Minecraft, a few other movies that I can't think of from the top of my head just because nobody cares. And that couldn't save the company, because for over 2 years, I've been bringing y'all the facts with the stocks and showing you that those numbers do not lie. And for a while, ever since James Gunn took over, everything has been under $13, right? Now that we got this announcement within the past few days, not even days, it's just few hours, literally WB stock has finally started going up. Is at $18.87. That's how much it closed yesterday, Friday. All right. What does this show you? What does this tell you? A lot of things. First of all, investors are still interested because, of course, it's all about money. And they're seeing, Paramount is all about making money. Comcast and Netflix are all about making money, baby. That's all this business is about. This is straight up like a gamble, Wall Street is a gamble. It's all about making money, all right? The point is, when you have these hungry companies, hungry corporations trying to make a bid to offer and say, hey, look, we see you're struggling to WB. How about you sell it? What are we hearing now? All of a sudden now that Paramount is interested, that they want to make a bid to WB. We've been hearing that with Netflix for a while. This is why you see a lot of people have been talking about, sell to Netflix and all that. And let's not forget, my friends, in January, literally in 4 months, January 2026, Comcast is already doing a partnership or some type of deal with HBO Max. And a lot of people are sleeping on that. They are not paying attention to that. And we're going to look and break down all three studios because there's some interesting, good and bad things to it. All right. But at the same time, in the end, it's all about money. Let's not forget when Marvel was struggling back in the 90s, they sold to Sony Spider-Man, they sold to Fox, and the list continues. After all these years, after the success, the massive success of Avengers, and how Marvel Studios has been dominating the industry, things shifted, things changed. And look at where they are right now, Disney, the big and mighty one, is starting to also fall. With that being said, let's look and analyze at Paramount. Paramount has a lot of IPs, right? Let's look at the pioneer of streaming, Netflix. Netflix has been the pioneer when it comes to streaming. And then after Netflix, we got Disney Plus. And then during the pandemic and all that, we got Paramount Plus. And of course, we know Comcast just dominates everything on the internet. They completely have networks and all that stuff. And when you look at all three companies, they all have money, all right? Especially now that Paramount did the merger with Skydance, that's insane, $8 billion. Yeah, that's some straight buku money. That's like insane. That's money you could wipe your ass for like years, if anything. And Paramount, we know that they're about making money. We know Comcast and Netflix are all about making money also. We know that Zack Snyder right now is at Paramount working and making that movie, The Last Photograph. That's his newest thing that's coming. All right. Netflix, we know that they have Rebel Moon 1 and 2, and we know more things are going to be coming. Now, Comcast, on the other hand, Comcast is being quiet. But let's analyze and let's look at this. Because if you see Comcast doesn't have this debt. You don't be seeing Comcast on the news, like, oh, like they're struggling financially. You don't see that with Netflix and you don't see that with Paramount. Now, recently, we were seeing it with Paramount because we're going to break it down. We're going to talk about that. Comcast has always been quiet in the cut, making their money regardless. They don't care. Like they be coming out during the Super Bowl. They got all these ads everywhere and stuff like that. They're huge, And Netflix is just Netflix. Netflix is like, well, we're going to cut the middle person, which is the movie theaters, and we're going to keep all the profit in-house. Bravo. They've done a fantastic job at doing that. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. If you've been following me, I've spoken about it, and I've said it in the past. When Netflix put out Rebel Moon 2, I had the privilege to go see it in theaters, and that was a private screening that they did. Wow, what an amazing experience. And Netflix did that for probably like one night only, but they don't care about theater releases. They care about streaming because that's where they get all their money, subscribers and all that. So now let's look at it. After the pandemic, Disney Plus copied Netflix. Oh, we want to do a streaming service too. They've been doing good with it. Now lately it's kind of crumbling, whatever. But let's look at Paramount. Paramount has Paramount Plus. What else does Paramount has? Oh, that's right. How many times don't you hear me talking about constantly about Michael Bay and the Bayverse with the Bayformers? How many times haven't I proven to y'all and told you that Paramount, right? They need Michael Bay to continue the success of the Transformers IP in the cinematic universe. And now we're hearing rumors also before we heard about this whole thing that they're interested in buying WB, that they're bringing back Michael Bay because they want to continue doing live action movies before they lose the license in 2030. Now, Paramount doing that merger with Skydance, that's $8 billion, baby. $8 billion. Think about that. They have money to do so much and still have leftover. All right. Sure, it's not money like probably like Comcast, Netflix, and Disney, but $8 billion is $8 billion. Now let's look at that. Paramount is also about fixing and giving the fans what they want. Remember, Paramount also has Sonic. Remember all the backlash when they put out the first Sonic design. People weren't happy with it. People were like, yo, change that or we're not watching it. And what did they do? They say, whoa, whoa, whoa. All of the fans are like, yo, if we don't give them what they want, we're going to lose a lot of money at the theaters, at the box office. So they delayed it, they fixed it, and look at where they are right now. 3 movies in and making money. That's all it matters. They're making money, baby. That's all it is. Transformers, we cannot say the same thing. As a Transformers fan, we've already seen that with Michael Bay, they were making monies with those movies, regardless. They made up to $1 billion. All right. When we got the last night, sure, it didn't make $1 billion, but hell, at the time, $600 million was still a lot of money for the studio. And they're not making that money no more because after Michael Bay, they've done 3 different movies, 3 different directors, 3 different takes, and it didn't work. So this is why they're going back to what worked, which was Michael Bay. That's what Paramount. Now let's look at Comcast. Comcast, you might be like, oh, what about Comcast? Comcast owns Universal. What does Universal own? Universal Studios. What else do they own? What's the 2 biggest IPs that Comcast as Universal owns in their studio? Jurassic World and the Fast Saga. So they have the Fast and the Furious IP that makes a lot of money. Say what you want, but those movies are entertaining and they bring in money. That's why we have 11 films of them. And then Jurassic World. What do we have now? We're going to like the 7th film, I think, or something like that. And with the recent success of Jurassic World Rebirth, of course, they're going to greenlight the next production and say, you know what? Let's keep on making money. Let's be real. Let's be real. 2025 summer was dominated, and Jurassic World Rebirth crushed, stomped the box office. That's it. Superman couldn't get to that number. It just couldn't. They tried, but they couldn't. They were struggling. Sure, they made some money domestically, but worldwide, Jurassic World is almost at $900 million. That is nuts. But we knew that that was going to happen because, of course, it's Jurassic World, an established IP. People love dinosaurs of all ages, including myself. So people want to go see these movies. They're good, entertaining movies. We can't say the same thing about Superman because we already know the situation with that. Now let's look at Netflix. Netflix. Ooh. How many times haven't we heard about Netflix wanting to buy or being interested in acquiring the SnyderVerse? And not only that, they would love to buy, and they've even said it. If they had, and if they could, even Zach has said it, hell yeah, they want to continue. They would love to get their hands on that IP of the DC brand. But the question comes down to all 3 studios, which is of today's topic. Will Warner Brothers Discovery sell? That is the question. Because WB's in a situation financially, sure, they're starting to go up in their stocks, but the only reason that's happening is because everybody's right now talking about it. You have Paramount, Skydance, you have Comcast that's interested, you have Netflix that's interested, you have 3 big different corporations that they want a piece. If not, they want to just straight up eat up all of Warner Brothers Discovery. And we know Warner Brothers Discovery, under the poor leadership of David Zaslav, has not been making money. They think that they've been making money, but they're not really making money. It's crazy. It's completely crazy. Now let's see. All right. Let's see. What if right? Let's speculate and let's get into this more deep. Let's just say that Netflix does acquire Warner Brothers and they just are interested in the DC IP. Okay? The question is, will the studio sell it? How much is Netflix willing to spend? How much is Comcast willing to spend, and how much is Paramount willing to spend? Because they're preparing this big bid. Now, this is where we're gonna start seeing that the bidding war is going to come soon. When you see these three studios making an offer to Warner Brothers Discovery, I know David Zaslav's eyes are gonna be like in the cartoons. They're gonna turn to dollar signs, and he's gonna be drooling because he's gonna be hearing all type of crazy numbers. Now we already know in business, the highest bidder is the one that wins. Now is Paramount, Comcast, or Netflix ready to step up to the game? I think so. I think so. But let's not forget, with Comcast doing something with HBO Max in 2026, where does that put things into play? What about Netflix? Netflix wants to continue and they want to do more with the SnyderVerse. But hard-headed WB doesn't want to let go of it. I think it's coming down to where WB knows that they're screwed. And like I've been calling it for a while, either you do two things. Either you restore the Snyderverse or you're going to be going up for sale. And this is where it's heading because they refuse to restore the Snyderverse. And now you have three different corporations, Paramount, Comcast, and Netflix, that they're hungry, they're drooling, and they're after the studio, the whole studio, just like Marvel did when they took over Fox, meaning Disney, when they bought out Fox just so they could get back those characters of the X-Men. And look at what situation they're in. Now they have Aliens, they have Predator, they have X-Men, they have everything under their belt. Good for them. Good for them. And when you're looking at it with Paramount, Paramount's about making money. So they're like, yo, okay, if we bring back Michael Bay and we restore the Bayverse, and you know that I'm the only one pretty much on the internet talking about restore the Bayverse because that's what I believe in. That's what brings in money. Hopefully they've been seeing my videos and they're aware of it because I tag them also on X. Has somebody finally have common sense at the studio and said, you know what? Damn, the fans are onto something. Yeah, they were making money. We need to go back to what works. Let's bring in Michael Bay. Now, with that, imagine Paramount's also saying, yo, imagine if we made an offer to Warner Brothers and seeing how DC's going down, what if we end up acquiring the DC brand? Imagine somebody on the studio with common sense finally says, hey, we can also restore the Snyderverse the same way like we're about to restore the Bayverse. Yo, that is money. They know it. Netflix wants it, Paramount wants it, and I'm sure Comcast wants it also. Because we've been tagging Comcast. We've been for a while telling Netflix to buy the Snyderverse. Now, I've been seeing a lot of hashtags with people including Paramount, and this is good because this is bringing a lot of brand awareness to WB saying, hey, you have three different studios, three different corporations that are ready to buy you out. The question is, will you sell? That's what the question comes down to. The next few months is going to be interesting. And this is not going to happen overnight. This is going to take some time. But we're all here watching, waiting, and we're looking to see how everything is going to unfold with that. This is very interesting. This is very interesting, my friends. Honestly, I see that there's a lot of changes, there's a lot of things coming, and most of all, we're not ready. None of us are ready because one of these three are going to sweep everybody off their feet. The studio, the competitors, the stocks, everything that comes with it. Because once they acquire WB, whoever it is, any of the three, it's over. It's over. Game over in the sense that everything that they've been putting out is about to finally be repaired and be fixed by people, a new administration, if you want to say, a new team, a new takeover, and it's refreshing. We need that because the current regime at Warner Brothers is not doing it. They haven't been doing it and they're not going to do it. We need new leadership. When you have new leadership, you have ideas, you have, more money, you have more people, everything that has to do with making money. Because in the end, these companies, all they want to do is spend money to bring in money. You can't just invest money and say, well, I'm going to invest money, but I'm going to lose money. No, it doesn't work like that. And that's WB's motto. That's what they've been doing. Ever since Discovery took over, things have gone down every time more and more. And it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, honestly. There's so much that a studio can take and keep on losing money financially that it just catches up to them. Okay, now their stocks are starting to go up, but it's only because everybody's talking about it. So it's bringing attention. Everybody's looking. The investors are willing to, they're willing to risk even more. The gamble is even higher right now. And it just makes them, hey, well, we're willing to put money. So how about you accept or look at the offer at least? And stubborn WB, we know what's up, but it just takes the right price. Sometimes it's just making that right price. Like people will say, oh, I'm not going to sell. We don't see a for sale sign for WB right now. We don't. But that doesn't stop them from seeing and being curious about, okay, how much is Paramount willing to spend, Comcast and Netflix? You know, that's where the question comes into play. And they're going to be like, okay, whoever makes the highest offer, we can consider it. But here's the big but. Let's not forget also, my friends, that WB can listen to their proposition. You guys remember watching The Dark Knight with Joker, and you see when they walk into that little room and Joker's there and all that stuff. And when the guys when Joker's like making the jokes and stuff, you hear the guy with the TV and stuff. He's like, "I want to hear proposition." That's exactly what this is gonna come down to. I use that example because that's exactly what it's gonna come down to. WB's gonna be like, "I want to see what this proposition is about," and when they see the money, they're gonna be like, "Okay, you know, who's willing to really spend that amount of money?" you know and these bids are going to be high, but I'm going to tell you right now, these bids need to be really, really high. And I'm not talking about millions. They have to be in the billions. I'm telling you right now, because the moment whoever this company acquires Warner Brothers Discovery, whether it's Paramount, Comcast, Netflix, any of the three, right, they are going to make triple of what they're going to invest right now. This is why they're willing to risk it all. And I'll tell you right now, a lot of good things are going to come from this. A lot of good things, you know? One, for the fans. Two, for the customers. Three, for the consumers. And four, for the company themselves. Because they're going to be profiting. They're going to be making so much money that they're going to be like, you know what? Damn, this was an investment well worth it. And that's how you have to do it, honestly. It is going to be insane once we start hearing all of these bids and offers and everything that has to do with how they're going to approach Warner Brothers. Because we're all on the same boat and we're all right now watching from far, seeing WB sink while we see these other companies ready to make their offers. Now, the question is, which offer Warner Brothers is willing to take? Because even though we don't see a for sale sign, all right, let's be real. We don't see a for sale sign right now. We don't see anything that, hey, WB's up for sale. Hey, they're planning on selling. They don't care. This money has to come at them real, real good. I'm talking about like it has to be like some serious, serious offers for them to seriously say, I can't turn this down. Especially in today's economy, you can't turn down serious money. Everybody needs money. Everybody wants money. You have to be up there. You get what I'm saying? So the only question that comes down to it is, in the end, is WB could look at all of these propositions, but WB can also decline all of these propositions. That's the thing. That's what we have to also be aware of. Because a lot of people are like, oh, this one's going to buy it, that one's going to buy it, or this one's going to take it, this one's going to get it. We're speculating. Everybody's speculating right now. But honestly, in the end, it all depends on Warner Brothers. If Warner Brothers doesn't want to sell, nobody, absolutely nobody can judge them and nobody can criticize them because they're not in the condition of technically selling. If they want to sell, they can. If they don't, that's still their, that's their problem in the sense of, well, I don't want to sell it. Let's say, for example, have you ever been offered that somebody wants to buy something from you, whatever it is, and you're like, yo, this is not for sale, for whatever reason, you're like, this is not for sale. The same thing applies to this. WB doesn't have to sell to nobody. They can look at the offers. They can be like, okay, this is a good offer. I can consider this. But at the same time, it's like, no, we're gonna turn it down because they could be like that. Knowing how WB is, I mean, we know how WB is, honestly. And this is really, really getting interesting. Like, I'm seeing how everything is slowly lining up on both ends. Meaning, whoever has the money, they can make a good offer. But at the same time, WB is going down. So it would be best in their interest to really consider and reconsider all of these offers that are coming towards them, honestly, and seeing that all of these companies are interested in buying them. They're not just after one IP, they're after the whole thing. They're after all of WBD. And that's where the interesting part comes into. Because once they acquire the whole studio, we're talking about a lot of IPs. And they're going to flip all of that. They are going to flip it financially. That is going to be nuts. And this is why I say we're not ready for this. A lot of people are speculating. A lot of people are just, oh, I think this and I think that. Okay, that's cool. Everybody's opinion, it's always good and stuff. It's always good to hear, every side of, everybody's opinion. But the question is, until what point is WB willing to finally sell it? Because we're coming down to where eventually they have to sell. They have to, because nothing that they're putting out is working for them. So it's time for new ownership to take over Warner Brothers. It's time for a massive cleanse within that company. It's time for somebody who actually cares and really wants to invest to make back that money to take over. You know, it's not just, oh, come in, we own these IPs, and that's it, it's a done deal. No, we're talking about companies that these companies mean business. These three companies, like somebody just said in the comments, it's a triple threat. This is becoming like WWE. Oh my, it's a triple threat three-way, you know, and it's interesting. It is very interesting. Like hell, like I said, the next upcoming months is going to be very interesting. And it's not going to be a lot from now. I think this is going to be moving very, very fast, because let's be real. We are right now in September. We got October, November, December. That's it. We got like 90 days left of 2025. We already know that last year, sometime in December, that David Zaslav was on a roll selling small IPs from WB because it didn't work for them. So they're like, you know what? Let me just cash in now, like in the casino, and ride out. And that's what he did. He's selling small IPs, but then the big ones is the one where now these companies are coming into play. Because let's look at this. Let's look at this. All right. Now let's look at the bad side. All right. Let's look at the bad side real quick. Netflix, Comcast, and Paramount. But out of the three, there's only two I want to talk about: Paramount and Netflix, right? I get it. I'm just like y'all. I want the SnyderVerse to get restored with whoever the hell wants to do it. It doesn't matter. Whoever's willing to do it, let's go. The thing that I want to talk about real fast is in Paramount, guess who's there? Walter Hamada. Walter Hamada is currently, since 2023, in the horror division over at Paramount. Now that's a red flag. You might be asking yourself, "Oh, but he doesn't have nothing to do with the, that department, this and that." That's true, but you forget to also realize that The same way that Toby Emmerich was lurking in the background and all of these other bozos when Zach was there, they made it difficult for him. It wasn't them directly. They used puppets, and Walter Hamada was one of them. Walter Hamada was just in the middle, doing what he had to do with his job, and he did what he was told. So therefore, that's why we got what we got with the Hamadaverse. And at least he was trying, but you can clearly see that above him, there were always people trying to control him and manipulate him and say, do this, take that out. We're going to move away from this and everything. We know the drama that comes behind it, right? So that's that. Walter Hamada is currently at Paramount and he's a producer, right? A producer still has influence like a director. If not, a producer is even higher than a director. A producer can also influence other people. How do we know that Walter Hamada is still not going to continue the bad seeds that were already planted there from the past? And once, let's say Paramount does acquire it and they do want to restore the Snyderverse, how do we know that he's not going to get in the way and influence other people on the board? See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. Now, Netflix. Oh, good old Netflix, right? Who's over at Netflix? Isn't it Toby Emmerich? He's somewhere in there. He's somewhere in there, Netflix. See what I'm saying? So you still have these people that were from the old regime. They're like little roots and weeds. They're still scattered. And then you also have this other one person. I forgot. I can't remember his name right now. That he's over at Netflix. And he just came out recently talking bad about Rebel Moon and the Snyderverse and all that stuff. So we still have some bad seeds when it comes to Netflix. All right. And what do we do with that? We can't just ignore it. They're going to try to get in the way. Now let's look at Comcast. What's at Comcast? Oh, that's right. There's nobody from the old regimes on either side. Who's at Comcast? Oh, that's right. Christopher Nolan. And what did Christopher Nolan do? He's the one that told Warner Brothers to start the DCEU with Man of Steel. And we already seen the success and everything that came from it and stuff like that. So if Comcast gets the Snyderverse, they get WB, they get DC, all these IPs, you think that they don't want to restore and continue the Snyderverse? Hell yeah. All three of these want to. All right. All three of these from these different studios, they definitely want to do something. They all want to do something. Now, the question is, who would it go to? Who will it go to? That's the question. Who's willing to spend the most money? Who's the one that's willing to put everything on the line financially and say, you know what? Screw it. We're going to take a risk. That's the question that none of us know because we don't know what offers they're about to make. But all three of them are going to make some serious money offers to WB. And when they do come in, that's what I want to see what's going to happen. Because regardless of all three, we already know that whoever it is, Paramount, Comcast, or Netflix, they're craving to restore the Snyderverse. And this is where this whole thing of, well, where does DC and the DCU and everything that it's at right now fall into play? I'm going to tell you right now, the moment that either of these companies take over, all three of them, if whoever wins and they end up buying out WB, I'm telling you right now, they're going to clean house and they're going to fire James Gunn. David Zaslav won't even be there anymore because he's going to just be collecting that money. He's going to ride out. So who's in charge now? The new company, the new corporation, the new people that are right now in that studio. Paramount is about making money. Comcast and Netflix are all about making money. You think that they're going to look at James Gunn and be like, hey, we saw that you spent a lot of money for the studio, but we're going to continue your universe? Hell no. They're going to be like, just like Vince McMahon, they're going to tell James Gunn, you're fired. Get out of here. Because we want to make money. We don't want to lose money. And this is why a lot of us are speculating and seeing. This is why James Gunn's so desperate right now, trying to announce and green light and do this and do that. Oh, we're doing this and we're doing that. Dude, nobody believes you, period. You're a liar. That's exactly who you are. Since day one, once you step into WB with the Suicide Squad, that was the first flop of many flops to come. And I hope that Paramount, Comcast, or Netflix are listening and watching this. Not today, not tomorrow, but in the future or whenever. All right? Listen close. James Gunn has costed Warner Brothers Discovery so much money. If any of you three end up buying Warner Brothers, get rid of him. You do not need James Gunn. Nobody cares about the DCU. We all want the SnyderVerse to get restored. We want David Ayer's Suicide Squad to be released. We want Batgirl to be released, hell, for free, since it's already been a tax write-off. Continue the SnyderVerse. End everything with James Gunn. We do not care about Peacemaker. We do not care about Superman. Henry Cavill is and will always be the real Superman of our times. I guarantee you make these movies from Zack Snyder, you will triple your profits on what you're going to invest with this company. WB has been sleeping for years on the Snyderverse. They were scared and they bent the knee to all the shills and the fake media. The woke era is over. It's done. Nobody cares about that anymore. That's a thing of the past. And just like that, James Gunn and everything that he's doing will soon be a thing of the past that nobody cares. Right now, nobody cares. The viewers and the views and everything keeps on going down. Their money is not where it's at. They thought that they were going to make it, and it's not. It's just backfiring. Everything that they've announced, nobody's interested. The slate that they have coming up, nobody cares. Everything is done. Nobody's interested anymore. And then James Gunn comes out with, oh, superhero fatigue. There's no superhero fatigue. People just want good quality movies. That's it. By now, Paramount knows that after three different directors, three different visions, the Transformers brand is down the toilet and it's been clogged up for years. You should have continued with Michael Bay. You should have kept going with the Bayverse and you would have been making money. But no, for trying to take the shortcut and the short route, trying to save some money, just like WB has done, it's been costing you even more money with the Transformers brand. This is why now they're going back to Michael Bay. They're going to give him some scripts. They're going to read it. They're going to go over it. They're probably discussing all of that as we speak. What does this tell you? That they're going back to the formula that worked. Michael Bay is the solution to save the Transformers brand. Comcast has Jurassic World. Jurassic World is an established IP. People all over the world love it, and the numbers don't lie. This is why you see that their stocks are high. They made high money at the box office, and people are still supporting it, and they're looking forward to the next one because it brings in money. The same thing with the Fast Saga, the Fast and Furious Saga. That's a brand. How many movies they have? 11? Wow, that's crazy. That is nuts. Or they're going to the 11th installment. That is nuts. That is nuts. And every time, every movie of that makes money. And that's the thing. That's what these studios want. Netflix knows they believe in Zack Snyder. This proves to all the anti-Zack Snyder fans that Netflix does care because they did, what was it, Rebel Moon, and then they did Rebel Moon 2. They did two versions. Therefore, we got also another Snyder cut with Rebel Moon. And we got, come on, they believe in Zack. Right now, he's busy and doing stuff with Paramount with The Last Photograph and stuff. And we know that once he comes back, and he's already said it in a recent interview, once he's done with those two projects, he's going back to Rebel Moon. So you see what I'm saying? Like, people are sometimes in denial and they don't want to accept this. And that's what's hurting right now all of these James Gunn fans. Look, I'm going to tell you straight up. The James Gunn fans are just all these shill, woke agenda carriers. That's who they are, straight up. That's what they are, and that's who they are. They love to push and promote all of their agenda, all that garbage that nobody cares about. That's why nothing is working. You don't believe me? Look at what just happened with the comic book of Red Hood. I won't get into details, but look at who was behind that. That's the type of people that Warner Brothers employs. When you see Paramount, Comcast, and Netflix, they don't care about that. They don't care about agendas. They only care about, we're going to make money and we want to make money back. That's what this business is about, honestly. You see? And when these studios make that offer to Warner Brothers, it's not going to be chump change. It's going to be some serious money. And they know that there's money there sitting on the table. They know it. They know it. You're going to tell me all three of these studios don't know that fans are asking for the Snyderverse? You think that these three studios are just sitting there with their arms crossed and saying, you know what? James Gunn is actually putting slop, but you know what? We'll continue that if we buy it. No, no, they know. They know that there's money with the Snyderverse, the same way that there's money with the Bayverse. They know that there's money waiting for they can cash in with David Ayer's Suicide Squad. This is why you see James Gunn now all of a sudden on panic mode, trying to, oh, well, the DCU is not connected, is retcon, but yet he's trying to bring in characters from Suicide Squad, from David Ayer, some from, Zack Snyder's universe, and he's giving them different roles because he's just trying to screw up. That's his legacy before he's out. James Gunn knows that his days are numbered at WB. James Gunn is not going to be moving forward once one of these studios buys Warner Brothers Discovery very soon. He knows it. I'm sure that he's already probably heard talks. Yo, they're going to make an offer. And if they make an offer, you're not in those plans. So he's like, let me convince them. Let me try to do something so they can keep me on their payroll. No, we already know that when James Gunn is done, he's going back to Marvel. He's going to go crawling back to them. That's who he is, and that's what he's going to continue doing because that's what his agenda is. In the end, we will get good quality again. This is why you see all these James Gunn fanatics coming out crying and complaining because that's what they do. That's all they know how to do, complain and cry. And every time they see something that's pertaining and it will benefit and give us hope for the Snyderverse to get restored, they come out even more crying. Oh, move on, give up. The same crap that they said when we were fighting for the Snyder Cut. We now have the Snyder Cut. Soon, when all this changes, everything that we are right now will be put to past and we'll be moving forward in a blank new page, symbolically, meaning let's go back and pick up where things left off. And these studios know it. These studios know that people are willing to spend money on the Snyderverse. You're going to tell me that these three studios looked at the McFarlane campaign and less than a week it raised and it met the goal and it surpassed it by the end of the month with over 600,000? That's insane. That's just with one toy. See what I'm saying? Now imagine with the movie side. They know that the servers crashed on HBO Max. What do you think, that they don't have statistics? Of course they do. You're talking about two streaming services, Paramount Plus and Netflix. Two monsters when it comes to the streaming service. What do you think? That if Netflix or Paramount doesn't, now let's throw also Comcast, all right? Because Comcast doesn't have a streaming service. But you imagine Comcast acquires HBO Max? It's a done deal, baby. That's a done deal. You have Paramount Plus, Comcast, if they end up buying Warner Brothers, if they end up owning HBO Max, that'll be their streaming service. And then Netflix, 3 streaming services going at it. Oh, the possibilities are endless, my friends. We're talking about the Snyderverse on a grand scale that you cannot picture. There is so much content that they can put out, and they know it. They know it. It's just the leadership we have right now at Warner Brothers sucks. They don't care because they have no idea. They want to just push their agenda, but joke's on them because the agendas and all the woke nonsense, it's over. That's done. Nobody cares about that anymore. That's over. That's like a month old in the past. People don't care about that no more. Common sense is back, period. Agree or disagree. Common sense is back and it's bigger than ever. This is why you see these studios trying to go after these big IPs because they know that there's money sitting on the table. So they're like, yo, let's make an offer and let's buy them out. Because if we don't do that, then we're going to lose out money. And not only that, that affects all of them. With the way that Warner Brothers has been performing poorly at the box office, on streaming, all that stuff, that affects everybody. It affects Netflix, Comcast, Paramount. It's a domino effect. Everybody's getting hurt by it financially. because now investors are not willing to spend, they're not willing to risk, they're holding back, the economy gets worse, things just get more complicated, right? This is a business. In the end, that's what it is. It's all a business. So when you have these companies that they're straight up, they're hungry, they want everything that has to do with what they're putting, you better believe that they're willing to spend this amount of money and more. They're like, we know we're going to make money back. Let's just flip it. Let's invest it because we're going to bring back even triple than what we spent on it. They're going to get back what they return, their ROI, return on revenue, and return on investment. I mean, and they're going to see that all this revenue is going to come back to them. James Gunn's days are numbered. David Zaslav doesn't care. David Zaslav's just trying to get an easy payday so he can just go back and play golf and call it a day. He could retire or whatever the hell he's doing. James Gunn is nervous. He's straight up scared. And he should be. Good. Fear. That's what it is. You smell that? That's fear. That's exactly what James Gunn is feeling right now. He's feeling the heat. He's feeling the pressure. You imagine, what's his name? Chef Ramsay. You know how he's always screaming and yelling in the kitchen, like, hey, get out of here, blah, blah. That's how he's with James Gunn. Symbolically, I'm just talking about, James Gunn straight up feeling the heat. He's feeling the pressure. He's not delivering. And they know that. Don't think that they're not. They know it. They know it. The studio's on to him. If we buy this whole studio, he's the first one out because he hasn't been listening to the fans. He hasn't been doing what the fans want. And when you don't give the fans what they want, the consumer walks away. And when you lose your consumer, it's very hard to get that customer back again. It's very, very hard, honestly, my friends. And that's what these corporations know. They're seeing it. They're feeling it. They're aware of it. They see us. Don't think that they don't see the Restore the SnyderVerse hashtag, the Sell whatever it is hashtag. They know it. They hear it. They see it. They're aware. They're not blind. They're completely aware of everything that we're doing. If these hashtags weren't important, then why do they trend? See what I'm saying? And that's what the James Gunn fans don't want you to have. They don't want you to have hope. They don't want you to stay positive. They don't want you to be happy because they know that their precious, quote unquote, DCU is coming to an end. They know that it's dead on arrival. Nobody cares. Nobody's watching. Nobody's interested. Notice how after Superman, nobody's watching Peacemaker. The views keep going down. People are not talking about it. You can even see their ads. It barely has likes. People are not sharing it. People are just not interested. And the only ones that are interested are shills and people with agenda. That's it. That's all you're seeing, the type of people that it caters to. Real fans, they're not promoting this. They're not backing this up. They know it. They know it. And that's what the studios know. They know that there's a huge fan demand. They know that there's money that's sitting on the table. And they're like, we need to buy out this company because these characters, these IPs, they're all going down. And it's a shame to see it because WB for years has really not done anything with their own brand. They have a streaming service and they don't really know how to even use it. That shows you how bad David Zaslav has no idea how to run this company. How do you have the biggest characters, you have a streaming service, and you're not utilizing it? You're really not utilizing it. You're not doing anything with it. Sell it. You might as well just sell it. At this point, even I'm now saying it. Sell it. I don't care to who. Just sell it. That's it. Give it to someone that actually is willing to spend and invest on it. If WB is too lazy or they don't care or their ego, whatever it is, you're just completely destroying this industry. This is why the industry is where it's at today. And people are tired of it. People are fed up. People everywhere are fed up. People just want good entertainment. That's all. When you watch a movie, you don't want to go see a movie that's giving you some type of lecture or an agenda of today's, real problems and all. No, nobody cares about that crap. People go to the movies because it's an experience. I don't want to go to the movies for a lecture. I want to go to the movies to forget and unplug from reality. That's what I go to the movies for. I want to be sucked into that world of whatever's going on. If it's horror, if it's comedy, if it's action, if it's adventure, if it's whatever, that's what I want to feel, my imagination. I want my imagination to be captured and be part of what's going on in the scenes within that movie, whether it's an hour, 3 hours, 4 hours, hell, even if the movie's like 6 hours. I just want to be entertained with good entertainment. That's what a lot of us want. We all want that. We want good entertainment. This is why you see that when people are like, oh, like James Gunn, oh, but there's a fatigue. There's no fatigue. It's just if you deliver good movies, people are going to go out there and watch it and support it. But the thing is, when they don't care about it, that's what happens. It's interesting. It's completely interesting to see how all of these amazing IPs at Warner Brothers are literally just sitting there, locked up in a vault, and they're not doing squat with it. They're not doing anything with it. It's insane. It's insane. How do you have these big IP characters of whatever it is, and you haven't done anything in years with them? That's it. It's like, what? Like, and you own it? Sell it. Sell it to somebody that actually cares. With that whole thing of Acme, it took another studio, and then next year we're gonna get it. Was it that hard? No. WB, you just wanted money. There, you got the money. Now next year, whoever's fans of that are going to enjoy it, and that's what matters. In the end, that's all that matters. Pleasing the fans, the customers, the consumers all over the world. Seeing, all right, just seeing out of all three of these companies, I personally, I don't care which one ends up buying them, whether it's Paramount, Comcast, or Netflix. Whoever's willing to spend and put the money up front and say, look, this is our offer. Take it or leave it. WB should seriously consider and say, you know what? We might as well sell now because things keep going down for them and nothing that they're putting out is working. Nothing. Nothing that they're putting. Their Batman IP, not working. Superman is a joke. Look at what it's become. Literally, this is what it's become. They don't care about Batman and Superman. They care about Peacemaker. That's the crap and the trash that they care about. They're more concerned about an orgy scene in Peacemaker than they are about explaining and showing these characters from this universe. Where's Batman during all of this? Where's Superman during all of this? What? They didn't get the invite to the orgy either? See what I'm saying? See how ridiculous that sounds? That's exactly the leadership that we have right now with James Gunn over with DC. Meanwhile, you have Comcast with Universal bringing in money with Jurassic World, bringing in money with the Fast Saga, bringing in money with their theme parks, bringing in money left and right from everything. And they're not dropping the price like it should be. Meanwhile, Superman, less than a week, it's already on sale. Damn. How do you go from $29.99 to straight $9.99? Wow. That tells you everything. What do you think that that Paramount, Netflix, and Comcast are not aware of that? Of course they are. They're seeing that, and they're probably laughing. They're laughing. They're like, "What? How? What? Already? It just came out." Meanwhile, Jurassic Rebirth is still like at what, like $25, $29, something like that, and they're still making money, and it's showing. The numbers don't lie. We've seen the statistics. We've seen the charts. We've seen everything that has to do with these numbers. Since day one, we saw with the trailer of Superman that WB was lying to the fans. Oh, it made this much numbers and this and that. It made that much that it took a fan to hack into their servers and delete their videos so they can lose all those views. People are tired of it. People are just tired of it. People just want good entertainment, good quality. That's it. And when they're seeing that that's happening, that's what they're going to do. You know, they're ready. They're ready. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. As soon as the Snyderverse is restored, for sure, WB or whoever and Zack Snyder should remake and do the refilling of Peacemaker season 2 to make it Zack Snyder's DCU spin-off series of Justice League. Yeah, that's what they're gonna do. I'm telling you. You think that the studios are not aware of that? Of course they are. They know. They're ready. Because how the hell? It's an embarrassment. What James Gunn has done to the DC brand, it's a pure embarrassment. And then you have all these James Gunn fanatics, more like lunatics, that they support that they're okay with that. They're more excited about seeing an orgy scene instead of actually seeing Batman and Superman going at it with these villains. That doesn't matter. But an orgy, yeah, that matters more, right? This is the type of fans that are ruining the entertainment business today. And just like that, there's more within the company of Warner Brothers. Paramount, they don't play that. Comcast and Netflix, they don't play that. They don't got time for that. They got time for making money and more money. And that's how it should be. When you make good content, you deserve to bring and get all the money you deserve. As long as you're giving us good quality and you're entertaining us, that's all that we're willing to pay for. See what I'm saying? We buy this merchandise because we enjoy it. Now, when you see how Superman's merchandise is sitting on clearance and it keeps on going on clearance while being on clearance, that's a red flag. It's telling you it's not making money, it's not selling. Why are you continuing it? That moves forward, but then you can't move forward with Zack Snyder and David Ayer. What's the problem? It's the ego of the studio. That's the problem. And that's what's been messing them up also, like all this time and stuff like that. It's completely nuts, especially what James Gunn did with the OGC and Peacemaker. It's done deal for him. Yeah, exactly. It's just showing you who and what he is. That's what he promotes, and fans are tired of it. The audience is just tired of it. The absolute negligence of Looney Tunes characters is even more offensive to me than the misuses of DC characters. There you go. You see, and I could feel exactly how you feel, because if that's something that you care about, that's how we all feel towards something that we care about with this company, meaning Warner Brothers. But they don't care. They'll rather offend us, not listen to us, and be like, oh, screw the fans. Screw the fans. Wow, that's the biggest mistake that they can do. As soon as the SnyderVerse is restored, okay, down I already saw him. So imagine James Gunn's version of Batman. No, that's going to be a complete embarrassment to Batman. Honestly, I don't even want to see what he wants to do. Honestly, yep. No, please. Yeah, exactly. Nope. It scares me. It scares me too. It really does. We can win and we will win. Exactly. We will stop at nothing. That's the whole point. Restore the Snyderverse all day. You already know it. And they're aware of it. They know. They know exactly what they're gonna do once they end up buying this company. Don't want to see Batman making goofy jokes. Nope. And that's what James Gunn is going to bring. It's gotten to the point where it's like, wow, this is it's like beyond embarrassing. It's like you just look at it and it's cringe. It's like, what the hell? I saw Batman Robert Pattinson logo on Clayface. That's crazy. Joint DCU. Yeah, exactly. That we don't know if it was intentional. We don't know if it was a joke. Supposedly James Gunn said that, oh, somebody did it without his approval. Yeah, right. Again, he's lying. He's just testing the waters to see what people are going to say. And like I said, James Gunn's legacy is going to remain in cinema history forever as the biggest joke in cinematic history. Honestly, his little short term of whatever it is that he did, we're going to look back, and every time we look back, we're going to be like, what the hell happened during that era? What the hell happened during that time? What the hell happened? That's all we're going to say. That's his legacy. His legacy is going to be a complete embarrassment. After the SnyderVerse is restored, what is it? WB may refill Peacemaker season 2, Zack Snyder UCU spinoff. And is it okay James Gunn's still the director or no? Nah, they're not gonna have James Gunn there anymore. They're gonna kick him out. They're gonna end up firing him for sure. For sure. They're cleaning house. They're ready to clean house, honestly. Gunn's Batman will make Joel Schumacher look like Christopher Nolan. Yeah, most likely. I agree with you, Alan. I really think that that's what's gonna happen, because knowing James Gunn, we know what he's about. And he's not about delivering quality. He's about delivering whatever silliness it is that he's putting out there. Zack Snyder's all the way for win, and James Gunn's completely a joke for lose. Yeah, I agree with you, Ty, for sure. That's going to be a joke that forever is going to, haunt the company if they don't end up selling it. You know, that's why I was like, you know what, this is something that we really have to talk about, and not only talk about. Now moving forward, we're all keeping eyes. We're all up to date seeing this, because everybody's interested in knowing what's going to happen. And I'm telling you right now, from here until December 31st, 2025, before we end the year, we're going to be hearing some more updates. We're going to be hearing a lot more updates as this keeps on developing, as this keeps on coming up, because let's be real, things are going to be moving fast once January comes up. let's not forget James Gunn's contract comes to an end in November 2026. He could go ahead and say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're getting ready to do this and do that. Okay, that's fine and dandy. Go ahead. But once this bid is made to WB and WB decides to accept it, I'm telling you right now, James Gunn will have no use at DC anymore. And his whole contract is going to be expired. They're not going to renew it. Why would they? Why would Paramount, Comcast, or Netflix, if they acquire WB, want to move forward with a person like James Gunn who lies to the fans, lies to the audience, and most of all, has costed so much money to the company? Now, you're probably having some James Gunn cultists right now, in here watching, and then they go and make a video about my opinion, which is ridiculous. But they're going to try to say, oh, but he's the best thing that has happened to DC. Really? Really? You're going to tell me that he's the best thing? How come Superman didn't make that billion that y'all all were saying that they were going to make? Y'all had 12 years to bounce and redeem yourselves. And again, you proved yourselves. It's not worth any of it. It's just not working. Nobody cares. Man of Steel is being talked about more than James Gunn's Superman. Everybody is ready to see Man of Steel 2. And to the ones that are saying, oh, but the actors and actresses, they're getting old. They already said that they've moved on, that they don't care. That's all bullshit. You're just saying that because you can't accept the reality, knowing that once one of these studios buys Warner Brothers, it's over and they are going to restore it. They are going to continue it. They are going to release it. And most of all, they are going to keep on building upon it. That's the thing. They can't accept the reality. The reality is that that's what's coming. They know. They know that that's what's coming. It's inevitable. They can't stop it. This is why Paramount, Comcast, or Netflix are interested in buying it because they know that there's money there. They know that they can capitalize 3 times, 4 times on whatever it is that they're going to invest. Oh, well, it's only going to cost us 6 million. We're going to flip that and make 24 billion. You get what I'm saying? Like they know that that's what's going to come from it. They can flip it and make so much money off of this, you know? And whoever it is, like I said, whether it's any of these three, let it be. The thing is, it's time to sell it. We need new ownership. We need new leadership at Warner Brothers. Everything that they have right now is just, it's like a cavity. It's just rotting away. And the more you leave it there, it just continues to just rot in the same place. It doesn't do anything but just rot away. That's exactly what the leadership right now currently at Warner Brothers is, with James Gunn, Peter Safran, and David Zaslav. Is just rotting away. All these brands that we care about, besides DC, they're just literally being thrown in the air and they're just gone with the wind. When you have Paramount, Comcast, or Netflix willing to invest to save these characters, to save these, IPs, to save everything that's coming from it and that's there, come on, we can all win together. And most of all, you're gonna keep your consumers happy, and those consumers bring in more customers. And in the end, those customers, they all become fans. So you see how all works together as a network? And that's what these studios know. They're ready. They're ready to capitalize and put out content. Paramount is ready to bring back Michael Bay because that's what we've been hearing lately. Variety has been reporting, Hollywood Reporter, they've all been reporting it, that Michael Bay is about to read the scripts with Paramount for the next live action Transformers movie. Whatever it is that they're doing, it doesn't matter. The point is that the boss, Michael Bay, is returning to the Transformers brand to direct another movie besides producing it. Now imagine when we hear with any of these three studios, hey, they're bringing Zack Snyder and they're restoring the Snyderverse and they want to continue it, whatever way, shape, and form. The other day, somebody made a good point because they said Paramount, they're all about releasing movies in the theaters, and that's true. If they end up getting it, you better believe that we're going to be getting Zack Snyder's Justice League in theaters, and we're going to get Justice League 2, 3, all in theaters. and we're going to probably get some extra stuff on their streaming service. So you see what I'm saying? And this is what the James Gunn cultists can't accept. They don't want that. They're straight up just marinating in their own toxic juice, knowing that they can't stop us. They know, and it hurts them, that it's going to happen. The same way that they told us, oh, they're not gonna give you the Snyder cut. Move on. We have the Snyder cut. Remember, like 2 or 3 years ago, they're like, "Oh, you're never gonna see the DCEU on Netflix. It'll never happen." And next thing you know, boom, January of the next year, we had movies of the DCEU on Netflix. And just like that, one of these studios very soon are going to end up buying Warner Brothers Discovery, because enough is enough. This company can't take it anymore. The bubble's about to burst financially, and it's already leaking. They're not making money. Their debt is more higher than what the profits are coming in for the studio. They know it. They know that nothing is working for them. The only solution, and David Zaslav knows it, James Gunn knows it, and Peter Safran knows it. This is why we're hearing rumors that soon, when Peter Safran's contract is supposed to be up sometime now in the fall, we're already in the fall, so we should be hearing something very soon about that. Don't be surprised when you be hearing that, oh, he's stepping down as whatever from WB. He's probably jumping ship knowing that he's not going to have a job over here. The same thing with James Gunn. James Gunn and Peter Safran are both, David Zaslav are both like, you know what? Damn, what the hell's going to happen? James Gunn must be panicking right now, knowing that once new leadership comes in, it's over for him. It's over for everything that he's doing. This is why he's rushing, trying to make all these movies. Supergirl, Superman, Family, whatever the hell it is. He's probably trying to connect Matt Reeves' Batman with Clayface, and who knows what the hell. Who knows what the hell? See what I'm saying? Because he only has literally about a year to do everything he needs to do, and his time is running out. He knows it. He knows that his time is running out. So before that happens, he needs to move fast. And he's straight up on panic mode. He's straight up desperate. He's trying to do everything that he has to do. That way, he doesn't lose his position. But the new ownership, they don't care about that, because he's cost the company too much money. So they're like, nah, why would we want to continue with somebody that's been costing us too much money instead of making us money? You know, that's what they're looking at. They got the numbers. They know what's up. You know, the stock can't keep getting low. Yeah, it's getting low though. It's right now a little bit high just because everybody's talking about it. So the curiosity is there. You know, everybody's right now interested. So that's why people are kind of investing and stuff like that and stuff. But that's not gonna last long. You know, they're just riding this wave. So WB has to sell. It's getting to the point where they're going to have to sell eventually. That's the thing. We don't know. We don't know when. We don't know when, but we're going to be hearing stuff very soon. If we've already heard this, and this is a few hours ago that we heard this, you know, what we heard this like on Thursday, and today's Saturday, like what, 2 days ago. So this is all developing, you know, as we're speaking, and seeing how, you know, Warner Brothers is financially. They're not doing the money. They don't have those numbers. They can't say, oh yeah, we're not gonna sell because we're doing good on our own. I don't think so. You need that money to pay off that debt. And if another studio comes in, like, look, I'm gonna tell you straight up what can happen. This is just me speculating, you know, from the little bit that I know of business, that can happen. Let's say any of these three companies do acquire Warner Brothers, right? They're gonna also acquire the debt. They're gonna acquire everything that comes with it. All right. It's not like it's gonna be like, yo, we bought them out and that's it, it's a done deal, clean slate. No, it doesn't work like that. What I'm thinking, this is just me speculating. Give me 1 second while I drink water. What I think, speculating, is either Paramount, Comcast, or Netflix, whoever buys them, they're going to, yes, buy the debt that comes with the studio, but it's easy for them to do. Well, we're going to make WB go into bankrupt. It goes into bankrupt. They cleared the debt. It's a done deal. They still own it. They open it up again. Clean slate, no debt. Boom, done deal. And they start making money from there on. But Because a lot of companies, a lot of people, they do that. They go bankrupt, file for bankruptcy, and they just continue. We've seen that with a lot of companies and things like that. Once they sell it to another ownership, then the debt's gone. So pretty much is like they just passed it over, but the debt's eliminated. That's what I think is going to happen. WB can't do that to themselves. WB cannot go into bankruptcy and continue it. They just can't. If they go into bankruptcy, that's it. They have to close down the whole thing. And before that happens, and I think that's what David Zaslav is aware of. He's like, yeah, I'm going to sell while I can, and then I'm gonna cash in, and I don't care no more. He's just probably gonna get out of this industry, and like I said, he's just probably gonna go play golf, and he's done with it. James Gunn, he's screwed. He's screwed. He's not gonna have no job here at WB. He's gonna go back to Disney, because that's where he belongs, and he's gonna continue doing his stuff, Guardians of the Galaxy and Star Lord and whatever the hell he wants to do. Maybe he might bring all that orgy stuff over there to Disney. We know Disney won't tolerate that. But it's wild. It's completely wild seeing how all these things have changed and stuff like that. But it's good. Like I've been telling y'all for a while. We've all been seeing. We've been up to date. It's like the stupidity of WB has finally caught up, meaning they screwed and messed around, and now they're finding out, because now you have these studios that literally want to buy them out, and that's a good thing. We need a new studio to buy them out already. We need new ownership. We need new leadership. We need somebody in charge that actually has a plan and actually cares. That's all. We're not asking for too much. Is it asking for too much that we really just want what we want? That's it. I mean, we're the customer, we're the consumer. Most of all, we're the fan. So it's like, yo, I'm paying. I have every right to ask for what I want. And when they refuse to give you that, that's where everything goes downhill. Because for years, this is not a year or two. We've been talking about for a few years. Ever since WB turned their back on us, the Snyder fans, everything has been going down. It all started and it kicked off with Birds of Prey. Everything started going downhill from there on. And we're talking about 2020. So we've been going at it for a while now, when it comes to this whole financial situation for the studio. And in 5 years, that's a lot of money they've lost. Sure, they made some money, but their debt is much more higher than what their profit is. And that tells you everything. And knowing how these studios are, like I'm telling you, they can go ahead and buy out Warner Brothers, and they could just do, you know what? We're gonna make the old WB go into bankruptcy just to clear the debt. We're gonna continue it. We're gonna reopen it, if you want to say, and then it won't be under Warner. Because look, they could do this. They could shut down and file for bankruptcy, Warner Brothers Discovery. They break that old name, and now it'll be probably, I don't know, Warner Brothers Paramount. It's a new clean slate. See what I'm saying? So that's what they can do, and they could get away with it. So it would work for either one, or Comcast or Netflix or whatever, and it just would be amazing, honestly, because after all these years, it's like we can't continue with what James Gunn is doing. We just can't. The studio, they can't afford it. They just can't afford any more financial losses. All these flops have caught up to them. They've been spending more money on trying to do the next, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do this our way. And it hasn't been working. It just hasn't been working. And they know it, and it's sad, it's sad, and you can imagine what can come from it. Ray, that's true. I agree with you. I would love to see a TMNT with Sonic or Transformers crossover with DC than MCU. Yeah, big time, big time. But we already know that Disney can't buy them out. By laws, they can't. It's just they can't. But that would be awesome to see. Finally, you imagine that the Turtles with Batman and a live action movie, or with Sonic crossing over, or the Transformers and DC characters. Like it could be nuts. It could be nuts. Like straight up. It could be so many things that they can do, and it could happen. The studio can do it. Now the question is, like I said, will WB sell? That's the big question that we all have to ask ourselves. Are they finally going to sell? Because Paramount, Comcast, and Netflix, or hell, Sony, or whoever the hell, besides Disney, because Disney can't come into play for this. Disney owns way too much, so by law they cannot even make an offer. But all these studios, they can be like, "Yo, we're preparing a big amount to offer to Warner Brothers," but in the end, Warner Brothers still has the right to say, "You know what? Nah, we're good. We don't even want the offer." They could look at it, but they could be like, "Nah, we don't even want to accept the offer." That's the part that scares me, honestly. Is David Zaslav that stupid that he'll turn it down just because of his greed? It could be a possibility. David Zaslav is very greedy. Last year he wanted to sell, and there was a few people that spoke about it. I remember reading something and stuff like that, and he declined it because it wasn't to his expectations of what he wanted to sell. So I wonder what that number was. Nobody knows for sure, but I remember reading somewhere, and I spoke about it too, that it was sometime around December of last year. But then he gave himself a big fat ass bonus. It's like, come on, it's like the audacity. It's just it completely it's crazy. That would be nuts. It just leaves my mind where I'm like, what? Like, why would you turn that down? It's like, yo, they're willing to spend this much just to buy it. Like, come on, like, sell it. Just sell it. Honestly, we're all waiting. We all want them to sell because we care about this brand. We care about these characters. Like, I don't care about Warner Brothers themselves. I just care about the DC brand. Like, I care about those characters. Like, these are characters that I've grown up with, and seeing what they've become, it's like, come on, like they clearly don't give a damn. And it's like, and instead of getting your attention, it just pushes you away, and it's like, damn, this is what Superman has become. This is what Batman has become. Like, this is what the whole DC characters has become. It's a joke. It's a joke, and people are tired of that. People are just tired of all of that. It's not that they have superhero fatigue, because they don't. People still watch these movies. People are just tired of all the nonsense. And when they see that they're not putting out nothing good, like they get fed up, and it's normal. It's normal. And it's completely like, it just mind boggles. It just leaves me in shock. No words to say. Hell yeah, you already know already, the Armada, Justice League 2 and 3. That's coming for sure. That's coming. There's no doubt about that. There is no doubt in my mind that that's coming. You know, Probably not with WB themselves, but that's coming once one of these studios end up buying, Warner Brothers. Because, like we've been saying for a while, Warner Brothers is not in a situation where they can say, well, we don't need to sell because we're doing good on our own. No, you're not. It hasn't been working. It's not working, and it's not going to work. Your best solution is you're going to have to sell, you know, because until they don't sell, the goal is to keep those wallets closed and locked. That's it. We have to keep those wallets closed. We have to. And we have to. We've been doing a great job sending that message to them, saying, hey, we're not putting up with none of your crap anymore. And the studio knows it. WB knows it. They're aware, and they're like, man, people are not buying it, and we are not. That's why you see all these Superman merchandise on clearance and on top of clearance. That's the crazy part. Like, we try warning them. We try telling WB, you don't need to do what you're doing. Just continue where you left off. But no, you wanted to recast Henry Cavill. You wanted not to do Ben Affleck's Batman. You wanted to do Robert Pattinson's Batman. How did that work out for you? It's not working. That's the thing. It's not working. And it's completely insane. This is a hold on. Let's see. One of them might be a good company. However, the Walt Disney is actually far worse than what you realize. Yeah, I mean, these corporations are all dirty in the end. I mean, that's what corporations do. Good old corporations of America. That's what it is. But it's just them putting the content that we want. That's all. They can end up doing that, and they can end up doing so much. Like, they have no idea how much they can be gaining from doing this. And sure, you're gonna have a minority of the James Gunn fans coming out and crying and saying, "Oh, you Snyder fans always with the same thing and this and that." Yeah, because we told y'all we're not gonna stop at nothing. Period. It's like one of these studios are going to do it. I could see Paramount doing it. I could see Comcast doing it, but I could also see Netflix doing it. See what I'm saying? So either or, they can do it, and they want to do it. You know, they need to. They need to. It's just the studio. The studio is the one that, meaning Warner Brothers Discovery, that they have to sell. They are the ones that have to accept and say, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. It's a done deal. I mean, what's it gonna hurt you? Just letting go of the studio and you making a couple of billions? I mean, come on, that's you don't get that offer all the time, um, and that's where it all comes down to. This studio needs to sell like desperately to save them. They have to sell. They have to because they're not doing anything. I mean, look, let's talk about real fast about the Harry Potter, IP. I'm not into it, so I don't really know about it. But hearing and seeing what they're trying to do, they're already playing with that woke shit. I'm telling you, they're trying to do race swapping. They're trying to bring in, gender swaps. They're trying to do all this crap already. It's already starting off bad. You see what I'm saying? Just the sound of it sounds horrible. Now imagine when it actually happens, if it does happen and they make it. Instead of them improving the brand, it's just ruining the brand. And I know there's a lot of fans out there that love Harry Potter. I'm not into it, like I said, and they have that in their theme park. See what I'm saying? Meaning over at Universal. But like there's so much that you could do with that, and people are not they're not eating that. They are not. They're not supporting that. People are fed up with it. You know. And that's what I'm saying. Like there's so much that can come from this, and they know it. They know it. These studios know. They know exactly what it is. Yeah. Hopefully, Zack Snyder will announce Man of Steel 2 for sure. Batfleck movie for sure. The Dark Knight Returns would be dope. Wonder Woman 3, hell yeah, it's still in the works and development. I will bring back Henry Cavill, of course, versus Black Adam because that's where it left off. Ben Affleck, he's down to come back because he even said it at SnyderCon 2023 that he's willing. They're waiting on WB to call him, and of course Gal Gadot. Of course we have to. We need them. They're what started it, and honestly, this is this is what we need. We really need that. I could see it that it's going to happen. Who? That's the question that nobody knows. We don't know, and but the thing is that one of them is going to acquire it. I'm convinced. I'm convinced that at this point, I think David Zaslav is going to be like, screw it, I can't take on this anymore, and I'm just going to what do you call it, to sell it because he has to. He has to. He's gonna be like, yo, I'm gonna take the offer and that's it. Just retire, dude. Like how much more are you gonna keep going with the studio? Honestly, give it to new people. Give it to people that actually care about it. Ben wanted to continue as Batman. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he said it. He said it at that SnyderCon event. The video's out there. That's why it cracks me up when all these doubters and anti-Snyder fans come out and say, "Oh, they moved on." No, the hell they didn't. They've never once said that they've moved on. They've all said that they're ready and willing to come back to do more. And but again, the James Gunn fans are like that. They always love to make up things. If DC reboots their cinematic universe again, I'm done with DC, just like what they did with Marvel, which I'm already done with Marvel. Yeah, I get you. I get you with that. If Paramount, yeah, I mean, I don't think that's what they'll do. Probably a different point of view, but I don't think they'll reboot. I don't think they'll reboot in the sense of rebooting everything from the beginning and stuff like that. Nah, it's too much. They know that it's too much money on the table to lose out on the SnyderVerse and stuff. It would suck if they don't continue it. But I don't think so. I think that they're gonna do it. I think they're gonna, like I've been telling y'all, like Comcast, once they come into play in January. Remember the key word that I've been telling y'all from that rumor, that they want to do
DC alternative content exclusive for HBO Max. And could something be working behind the doors? Maybe we don't know, But then you have to remember, this is showbiz. Everything changes. Everything changes fast. This news swept everybody by surprise. This thing came in like a Category 5 hurricane. I'm in Florida, so I'm used to hurricanes. So if you know about that, Category 5 is like saying, I think, the strongest tornado out there. But it just came out of nowhere. Boom. That's how this news dropped. This dropped on Thursday, and everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. The only ones that are not happy about this are, of course, the minority fans of James Gunn supporters, because they know that this is going to happen, and they can't accept it. They know that their DCU is coming to an end. They know it. This is why they're all like slobbing over it right now and saying, "Oh, glazing all over James Gunn." But James Gunn's days are numbered. They are numbered. And things are gonna be moving fast. They're already starting to move. And look, the moment we saw that Paramount is preparing the bid, we started hearing that Netflix stocks dropped. Not a lot, because they're still over 1,000 a share, but they dropped a bit. But it's just showing you that now investors are willing to spend on Paramount, and Paramount is like, yo, like, okay, shoot, like, we're making money like that, like, okay, like I just talked about it earlier. WB stocks, they closed at 18 and 87, on Friday. Now let's see how much Netflix closed. They closed at 1,188 .44. So it dropped 15%. And it is what it is, but 1.1, that's still a lot of money for a share. That's pretty massive, and the money's there. The money's there. People know it, and investors are willing to invest. Now let's see how much was let's see what Comcast was, their stocks. All right, $33 a share. Okay, not all that. Let's look at Paramount, how much it went. Paramount stock. All right, Paramount Skydance. All right, they're well, damn, this is for some reason showing Brazilian. I don't know why it's showing Brazilian. I don't know, Brazilian numbers, I guess. It's saying 87.89. I don't know why it's showing that, but let's see in the US in dollars how much it is. It's, yeah, $87.89. I don't know why it's showing it like that, but yeah, I mean, it went up for them, which is good. It's good. I know for a while it was down just because like they've been doing bad with their performance and stuff like that, and it sucks because, I mean, you have to remember too, like, these Transformers movies, they weren't helping the brand. They were just making it worse, because I don't know, just fans are just gonna be fans. They're gonna be divided regardless. But it's good to see that their stocks are starting to finally go up, which is good, because we heard that if they don't get it together by 2030, they're gonna have to sell all their studios. So, and this is why we see this merger with Skydance. So it helped them. It helped them in the long run, and that's good for them. Um, we don't hear that from Comcast, because, of course, Comcast is all about making money, and they don't got that problem, so that's good. And Netflix, of course, like 1.1 thousand a share. That's insane. Like, even when it drops, it's still high. That's nuts. After WB, Snyder, Andy Muschietti confirms Flash 2. Ezra Miller is happening. Hopefully, they cast Anthony Starr's Reverse Flash. JDM, Flashpoint, Batman. Andy Muschietti? Nah, hell nah. Honestly, I don't want Andy Muschietti nowhere near another DC movie. Nah, the Flash is just, it was not a good movie, honestly. I see what he tried to do, but he just didn't. I don't know. It's probably the notes that James Gunn gave him, but he just didn't do a good job with that Flash movie, honestly. There was some parts that were okay, other parts were like, nah, what the hell. But I don't want Andy Muschietti nowhere near a DC movie. Just have the Snyderverse to DC alternative content. Yeah, that's what they could do. They could do that. They could do so much. I mean, if they want to continue with Matt Reeves, with all three, hell, who knows? Like, I don't care. As long as they just continue to make stuff with Zack Snyder and David Ayer, with that version and vision of DC, that's all I care about, honestly. and that's what we need. We need that, but we need a studio that actually cares and actually is willing to invest in all of this, and I could see either one of these, any of these three, that they're willing to do it. They're willing to spend that money, and they're willing to do it. I see Paramount doing it. I see Comcast, and I see Netflix. And whoever it is, hell, whoever of the three it is, let it be. Let it be, because we just need, like I said, we need new ownership. And it's time. It's time. It's like it's exhausting right now, seeing how this industry is and where it's at right now. You think Andy Muschietti might not do Batman DCU after Clayface flop? Yeah, I don't think so. Notice how we have not heard anything about him. And yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen. Not a lot's gonna happen. The DCU has its days numbered. Even with their current projects, I don't see a lot of things happening. Honestly, gun babies might be screaming loud at the street wearing their super trash underwear. Yeah, like they're probably right now raging, saying all type of things about me. I don't care, honestly. But it just proves to you, it shows you, that in due time, this is going to happen, you know, and I can't wait, honestly. I don't know if you all seen Jurassic World. I forgot his name. I think Hopkins, whatever his name was, when he told Owen, and he was like, because of the Raptors and stuff, and he's like, oh, we're doing this with or without you, and that's the same thing. Once one of these studios ends up buying Warner Brothers, they're gonna do and they're gonna restore the SnyderVerse with or without, you know, um, the James Gunn fan approval. They're just gonna do what they know is going to make them money. They know that with James Gunn, they're not making money; they're losing money. Um, but it's interesting. It's interesting to see how things are shifting left and right. Did you see the Green Lantern logo, Pumpkin DCU? No, I didn't see it. Um, it's like there's not that much words to say. All we need is just we need new leadership. We've been saying it for a while. And that's what we need, honestly. It's wild. It's wild. Because when you look at it, Zach's right now at Paramount doing The Last Photograph. He's already at Netflix, and he has his friend Christopher Nolan at Comcast, which is Universal. He has his plug in all three. So any of the three would be a massive win. It would be a massive win, honestly. Whichever one ends up getting it, they could do so much with it. So much. Like it's unbelievable. You can't even think of how much they can do, but they could do so much from it and with it. If I were in charge of DC, I would allow Snyder's verse story to conclude before James Gunn and Peter Safran, which you guys don't like them, or anyone else. Reboot the DC universe entirely. Yeah, that's what he should have done. He should have, honestly. If he was gonna do a reboot, technically a reboot is you're starting all over from scratch. There's no such thing as a soft reboot or semi reboot or a partial reboot. There's retcon. No, either you go in or you go all out. That's it. That's how I see it. It's like he screwed up. He screwed up. He should have just said, you know what? Oh, it's gonna be a reboot. All right, dude. Erase everybody and bring in new people. That's it. Everybody. You know, it didn't bother James Gunn to replace Henry Cavill. It should have never bothered him to replace Peacemaker, to replace everybody. Everybody. But no, instead he just kept moving with what he wants and the people that he wants to stay with. And that's why it's just causing more confusion. And then he's saying that it's retcon and he's saying that the Snyderverse is not erased. It's just not there. It's in another timeline. Dude, just you're not making sense. You're just not. If I was on the board, I would be like, look, James Gunn, you're so full of shit. Like you always have an excuse with an excuse. Like, is it or not a reboot? Oh, it is or not? No. It's either yes or no, period. That's it. Your ass is on the line. Your job is on the line. And if you don't bring in the numbers that you said that you were, you're done. We're canceling everything. It's a done deal. It's that easy. It's that easy. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know, honestly. It's going to be interesting to see how things are changing, and they're going to continue to change. This is not an overnight thing. This is going to be for the next few years. I mean, next few months, and the next few weeks and stuff, and especially leading to next year because we know that James Gunn's contract is going to expire in 2026. So we're going to be hearing a lot of things left and right. We're going to be hearing a lot of cancellations. We're going to be hearing a lot of things. I'm telling you. That whole Superman for 2027 that they're trying to aim for, they can go ahead and announce that. I'm telling you right now. Remember, always remember, my friends, they did the same thing with Batgirl. Oh, it's supposed to come out, this and that. And in the end, they filmed it, they did everything, and they still canceled it. And it's a write off. See what I'm saying? So they did that to that movie. They could do the same thing for and what James Gunn is doing. He could go ahead and film whatever he's doing, his Superman and everything. But let's say a new ownership does end up taking over Warner Brothers. They can do the same thing. They're gonna be like, yo, we're gonna do just like Batgirl. We're gonna do a tax write-off. And as easy as that, it doesn't cost them anything. And that's it. It's a done deal. So that's what I'm telling you. There's always hope. There's always hope at the end. And things are going to change. Always remember, justice in the end wins. It always wins. It might seem that it takes a long time. We might be like, damn, when is justice gonna be served or whatever? But it'll come. It'll happen. We got justice with the Snyder Cut, and the Snyder Cut wasn't overnight. It took us 5 years. It took us 5 years. 2017 is when everything went down, and in 2021 is when we got it. So that's what I'm telling y'all. It takes time sometimes, but it'll happen. It'll happen on it. What is it? You don't think it's happening because no one wants watching something that have Ezra Miller in it? Maybe not you, but I'm gonna be watching it. A lot of people gonna be watching it. So, you're just in your feelings about that. Real talk. I don't care what the hell Ezra does in real life. I just care about what he does in what do you call it in the movie. So you're gonna tell me that you're not okay with what Ezra has done, but you're okay with what James Gunn has done in the past about those tweets? Get out of here with that, honestly. It's the hypocrisy of the James Gunn fans. That's what it is. The hypocrisy at its finest. Let's see. Let's see. You love Flashpoint animated movie better than the garbage flush. Yeah. A lot of people. I'm telling you that Flush movie. I'm telling you, man. You can clearly see all the notes that James Gunn. He had his hands deep in that movie. And it's crazy how we don't hear nothing about Andy Muschietti. Notice that after the Flush, we have not heard anything from him. Announcing Man of Steel 2 will break the internet. Yep, hell yeah, big time. Once we hear honestly any of these studios that it's a done deal and they've acquired, let's say for example, whoever it is of the three, let the best studio win. Let the best studio win. Let's say whoever wins, and then that's it. We start hearing it all over the news. We start hearing it all over social media. It's a done deal. We have new ownership at Warner Brothers coming soon. Just that alone, that's gonna destroy the internet. I'm telling you right now. Like, we're not ready. We're not ready for it. Because we're gonna be in shock. Everybody. People that support it, people that don't support it, we're all gonna be in shock. I'm okay with either of these three companies to get Warner Brothers. Let them buy it. Let Warner Brothers sell it because it's time. They have to, like they have to completely. It's they need to sell that. They need to honestly, it's time that they need to sell it honestly. Are you tomorrow video talk about Robert Pattinson's Batman logo on Clayface? Yeah, I might end up talking about that. I was gonna talk about that earlier today, but I didn't get a chance to make a video on that. But I am gonna talk about that. That and I got some other stuff too that I want to throw it probably all in one video. Just because it's like different things with DC and things. So I do have some more stuff to talk about. That's why I was like, you know what, we need to talk about this with this thing because this is a hot topic right now. And this is gonna keep on going. This is not gonna stop overnight. This is not gonna stop over like honestly like completely like in a few days. This is gonna keep on going until things change. And you know until things keep on moving forward with it. 'Cause this is exciting, honestly. With this thing, if they're gonna buy it, and who's gonna buy it. Like this is getting very very interesting. Um, on what's gonna happen and stuff like that. If say Superman flop, DCU's over. I think it does not a flop. Yeah, Superman was a flop. Period. Like that's completely a massive flop. Keep Bannister away from the DCU. I think he's gonna end up joining the DCU. I think at this point James Gunn's gonna end up incorporating it, and he's just gonna end up throwing everything into one thing. Just because I'm telling you, James Gunn is desperate and he's nervous. He knows it. He knows that his days are numbered, especially with this. Yeah, he's completely like completely like he's scared. James Gunn's scared. He knows that he's not gonna be around at WB for long. He know it. He's not gonna be there for the whole 10-year bullshit. Hell nah. He's not gonna make it that long. He's just gonna be there probably for like the 4 years, probably max. Maybe max. They might extend maybe for like an extra year. That's it. But yeah, I don't see him there long. Hell no. He's not. Yeah, James Gunn's worried for sure. For sure, he's worried. He's and just like all these James Gunn fans, they're saying they're all nervous, they're panicking, they're like, "Oh, what's gonna happen?" Like they know that it's coming to an end. They know, and they can't stop it. Hell yeah, Patterson must go. True fans want Affleck. Hell yeah, big time. Matt Reeves is not paying attention. Clayface DCU joint, DCU. Yeah, Matt Reeves. I think in the end, Matt Reeves is just gonna end up walking. He's gonna end up saying, "You know what? Screw this." He's tired of it too. Like it's so much holdups and delays and all this crap. I'm telling you, man, eh, it's a lot of things that are going to keep on shifting. And it's not just with Batman and Superman, just in overall with the company itself. With the company itself, it's just going to be, we're going to be seeing a lot of updates. I'm telling y'all, we're going to be seeing a lot of updates as we continue to move forward. Just with because of this announcement, with all these studios that want to buy WB, like they're hungry. They're hungry. Like Tyrese was saying, in the Fast and Furious, he's like, I'm hungry. That's straight up how he is. He's like, that's how these studios are right now. They're hungry. They're coming. They're coming after Warner Brothers, and that's good. That's good. We need to keep on putting pressure on this shitty company, this shitty studio. I'm tired of them. Like they need to straight up sell it. They need to sell it. And this is one way that they have to. They have to, honestly. Um, all right. Let me see. Hold on. I think. Hey, gamer Kyle. All right. I see you, gamer Kyle. Let me see. All right. So, yeah. All right. Yeah. Hold on. Gamer Kyle. You earned yourself a timeout because you trolling. I see you trolling a lot. I let a few of them slide, but not no more, yo. Straight up, I got time for that. There's always a James Gunn fan infiltrated, So I'm not playing around with that, honestly. We're here trying to keep it positive and chill and stuff like that. It's like you can't reason with the James Gunn fans. You just can't. You show them facts, they don't like it. You don't give them facts, they don't like it. And then they tell you, "Oh, where's the facts?" But what for? You bring the facts, you deny it. You don't get facts, you still make a big fuss about it. You just can't. You can't reason with them. That's why I'm like, I don't have time for them, honestly. Let's see. Nah, John Campia. Nah, man, he's straight up another show. He's on WB's payroll, straight up. Just like a lot of them are, honestly. Do you see Doctor Doom first look? His costume, Avengers, Doomsday. Yeah, I saw it. That looks dope. That looks dope. There's some stuff I want to talk about on that also. That I got some stuff that I want to talk about. Probably tomorrow I'll just cram everything into one video or something like that. Let's see. Wars the Marvel. What's up? What's up? Appreciate you for watching. Also, yeah, we're just here. We're just scampy. Damn, it's crazy. Let me see. I don't have positivity with Marvel anymore. I'm already no longer embracing the future with Marvel anymore. Yeah, Marvel is on some other. I don't know what they're on right now, but I am excited for Spider-Man. I am excited for Doomsday and Secret Wars. That's like the only three things that I'm looking forward to them. Anything else that they put out, I'm not interested. I didn't see it. I don't even think I'm gonna end up seeing Thunderbolts. I'm not gonna see the new Captain America. I'm just not interested in what they put out this year, honestly. Um, it's just completely just not it's just not interesting. What's going on? Nothing. Just here. We've been chatting for like an hour and 45 minutes. Wow. Yeah. Just here talking about this whole thing with will WB Sell. Can't wait for Batman Arkham Knight sequel. Well, don't give your hopes up for that the next Arkham game coming out because it's gonna be VR. It's gonna be another VR. It's not gonna be on consoles. So once I read that, I was like, yeah, I'm not. I don't care. The last one, it's a continuation to Arkham Shadow. So and that was a game that was on VR. So I am not interested in that. Clayface budget is 40 million. Oh wow, that's it's pretty terrible. So they could flip it, so they could try to make 100 billion. I mean 100 million, and they're gonna claim that it was a success. That's how they're working right now. They are completely. Gamer Cow sitting down, watching wearing super trash underwear, eating his bluebell ice cream. Oh man, he's probably just watching, saying all type of things. It's all good, and I know next time not to troll. I mean, you can say what you want, but just man, when you keep going at it, it's like man, I don't got time for that. I'm still excited for Spider Man and Avengers Doomsday. Yeah, hell yeah, same. I can't wait for that. Do you saw Penguin and Clayface DCU, but Colin Farrell will be worried not in DCU. Yeah, he's saying he's not going to be in the next one. And then I don't know, honestly. I mean, we really don't know what's going to happen with that. I'm telling you, there's a lot of shakeup. There's a lot of shakeup. If Paramount buys WB, SnyderVerse could get resumed like they did with the Bayformers. Hell yeah, exactly. That's what we were just talking about. If Paramount does acquire them, then you better believe that they will end up restoring the Snyderverse. Um, that's no doubt about it for sure. That's for sure they're gonna end up doing it. They know that there's money to be made there. David Zaslav wants to play golf. He wants to get over for James Gunn box office money. Yeah, like David Zaslav's just like you could tell dude's tired. Like he's tired of this crap. Like he goes to like places and he talks and they boo him. It's completely gonna be a mess. Honestly, there'll be a new Arkham game by Rocksteady. Oh yeah, I heard about that they're developing or something like that. Hopefully that one's good. I know it's from the same team. Well, the same. I know from the same team of Arkham Origins. They made that guy. He's now the head of that. I guess that department or something like that. So that's good. That's gonna be good. Honestly, I just hope they work on it ASAP. I read that Gunn said if Paramount gets WB, he quits. Ha! For real? That's good. Then we have to keep on putting pressure. We have to keep on putting pressure. Honestly, this is he knows what's up. James Gunn knows that he doesn't have a job once new ownership comes in. They know it. He knows it. He knows it. He knows that his days of whatever the hell he's doing at WB with DC are coming to an end. They're not gonna keep him as CEO of DC Studios. Hell no, for sure. Hell no. At least Spider-Man will be better than Superman. Oh yeah, 3 times better, and especially better than Supergirl for sure, for sure. That's why they moved the date. I hope the next Batman game is not VR. I'm tired of VR. Yeah, the next Batman game that they're working on is going to be the follow-up of Arkham Shadow, which is going to be VR. That's the one that just got announced recently. But then there's another one they're working, and I think that's the one they're gonna be doing, hopefully for consoles and stuff like that, because it's Rocksteady. But the next one coming up, I don't think it's going to be console. It's going to be another VR. I think Clayface will have Michael Jackson music. Let's see. Resume the DCU Snyderverse. Yes, yes, yes. Hype for Zack Snyder's UFC movie. Still balling. He deserves it. Yeah, yeah. That's gonna be interesting. Even though I'm not a UFC fan, but I want to see what he's gonna do with that. If you guys ever seen a movie called The Wrestler, like I think it's gonna be something like that, where it's probably we're gonna be going through the journey with one of these UFC fighters or something like that. Like from their point of view, and probably like just showing how and what they go through. I'm just speculating. Maybe that's what it's gonna be. I don't know. Um, but I know Zach's gonna cook something good. So and it's UFC. UFC they don't play around. They don't want none of that woke crap. That's gonna be straight up man's film right there, boy. Straight up, it's gonna be like 300. Some badass type of movie. Do you think Clayface, Batman, DCU, Robert Pattinson, or Chris Pratt? Uh, I don't even know, honestly. I really don't know what the hell they're doing with DCU and Batman and Clayface. I have no idea, honestly. I know they're gonna make him do probably some stupid things, just because. I don't know, because it's James Gunn. Just fired David Zaslav on WB, and Bob Iger still needs to get fired from Disney. I'm going to be so sick and tired of them. Yeah, a lot of us are. A lot of us are. Imagine Zack Snyder's Trigon. Will be good. Will be good. Let's see. Favorite movie, Mickey. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's a good movie with that actor with Mickey. Um, yeah, that was a good ass movie, honestly. Just showing you the point of view. So if you ever seen it, watch it. Like, it's called The Wrestler. It's from a few years ago. It's very good. I like that movie. It's almost like a documentary type of thing, but not really a documentary. But it's very like in a movie type. I don't know. You just gotta watch it. It's very good. But yeah, this is interesting. Like I said, as we continue to move forward, for here on out, for sure. Look, we're in September, October, November, December. We're gonna be hearing a lot of announcements, and especially like in November and December, we're gonna hear more announcements with that whole thing with Comcast and HBO Max. Because remember, that kicks off on January 2026. I'm not sure if it's the first day of 2026 or like a week or two in January, but I know it's in January 2026 that they're gonna come into play with them. So that's something interesting that's gonna come from there, and we're going to be hearing more updates from this whole Paramount and Netflix and probably Comcast. With the bidding wars. These bidding wars are coming. For sure they're coming, because once Paramount announced, like that they're preparing it, and they said it. Netflix is like, yo, let's get ourselves a bid war, and this is gonna become like straight up like storage wars and eBay, like, the highest bidder, like we're gonna be hearing some crazy stuff. I can only imagine, it would be nice if we could see these bids live, in the sense of, okay, they're like they're going at it, and it's like, all right, oh, this one threw a bid, then this one threw a bid. You imagine that? I'm just speculating. You imagine any of the three, they start off and they're like, oh, 1 million. Oh, 1 million. Can we get another million? Man, we get another million. Oh, we got 5 million. Oh, another million. Another million. Oh, we got 10 million. Oh, we got 100 million. Oh, now it's starting to get intensified. That I'm just picturing it. That's what it probably is. It would be fun, but realistic, I don't think it's gonna be like that. It's probably gonna just be like, hey, look, uh, Warner Brothers got a letter from Paramount, and this is the amount that they're offering to buy. And then probably gonna be like, oh, Comcast made an offer, and this is what they're willing to buy us for. And Netflix, they made an offer again. This is what they're willing to spend. That's what I'm thinking they're gonna do. They're just gonna be getting letters in the mail, and professional way and stuff like that. But it would be dope to see them going at it, like that, like like storage wars, where they be going at it with the bids and stuff, or like auctions and stuff. Like, oh, can I hear this? Can I hear that? Boom, you get another bid, you get another bid. It just keeps going more and more out of control. That would be nice, but who knows what's gonna happen again? But we are gonna keep hearing for sure. This is not the end of it. This is the beginning of these bids and things we're gonna start hearing, because we haven't heard anything yet besides this announcement. But once they start throwing numbers, I'm telling y'all, we're gonna be hearing left and right. Hey, they want to buy for this much, or they want to buy for that one. Because look, let's be honest, with this whole Paramount and Sky, what is it with Skydance? When we heard that, it was probably like, I think maybe like about a month or two before it actually happened, and they moved fast with it. Behind closed doors, they were working on it, and once it went public, things just went like that, back to back, back to back, back to back. It went fast, and then boom, it's official. Like, oh crap! Like, damn, $8 million. Like, I remember hearing that like 2 weeks ago. When at the time that they announced it, and that caught me by surprise, and I'm like, damn, okay, like, shoot, $8 billion. Like, yeah, I mean, that's not Disney money, but damn, $8 billion is still $8 billion. That's a lot of money. And I think what's gonna happen is that they're just gonna weigh out and see who's willing to make the biggest offer, and in the end, whoever makes the biggest offer, the question comes back to it: will WB sell it? You know, it would be in their best interest to sell at this point, because clearly they're not making the money. They just don't care anymore, and it's just they've lost a lot of fans. Warner Brothers has lost a lot of their consumers. This is why people are not going out and rewatching these movies and things like that. And we saw the fake marketing that we saw for Superman. I mean, desperation upon desperation. I mean, I've never seen a movie be so damn exaggerated with the marketing. They did the same thing with the Batman, but it wasn't as bad as this one. Superman was straight shilling, straight catering to the shills, and to everybody with bending the knee. Like I've never seen the amount of fake marketing like we saw with Superman. I've never seen that in my life. And they're gonna do the same thing for Supergirl. They're gonna do the same thing for Supergirl. You'll see, what's the best thing and this and that, and they're gonna aim low. Oh, we're only expecting $90 million. So when it makes another 400 million or 300 million, oh, it's a success. Oh, this and that. You see what I'm saying? That's what they're gonna come out with. They're gonna try to use that same card and stuff like that. And you'll see they're gonna start flipping and they're gonna be like, oh look, Supergirl made more money than than the Flash in 2023, even though that's not SnyderVerse. What do you call it? Supergirl. But they're gonna try to blame us and categorize us and say it, which it was the Hamadaverse, and they're gonna be like, oh look, it made more than the Snyder's. What is it? The Flash, and it's just they don't know how to lie. Honestly, they just don't know. And that's what they're going to come out with. They're going to come out with all these same excuses, all these same lies, and just build this fake marketing saying, oh, you see, so successful. Nah, nah, nah. We already know what's up. Everybody knows what's up. The only ones that are going to be talking good are the ones that are going to want free movie tickets just to go see all these movies so they could do their reviews. I don't give a damn about it, honestly. I don't even think I'm going to watch Supergirl, not even for free. Are you planning on developing a passion project in filmmaking terms? Yes, I really am, because I'm also doing something like that on YouTube along with a few other projects before that coming soon. Yeah, I am. I actually am planning already in the works. I won't say too much, but I will tell y'all the following. Um, well, I'll say it now because we're already on the topic and stuff like that. Um, issue one is already complete, like pretty much. I just have to finish like maybe like I think I have like 6 pages left with the shadows and stuff like that. But that's it. I'll be done with it this week. Once this one's done, I'm already moving to issue two. I've already been working on that, with this one and things like that. So issue two is already in the works, and I do have something planned out. So now that you're saying anything that has with filmmaking terms, yeah, I actually do have something pertaining to the comic itself. So um, once I release this, then we'll talk about it more, and I'll share with y'all more details and things that I'm working on, stuff like that. So it's gonna be something fun, something I can't wait to also, start working on things like that. So I am preparing some things for that when it comes to that. Let's see. Did I say anything about Disney? Yes. Once Bob Iger and his bullies are fired, we riot. Good riddance soon to Bob Iger. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people are tired of him. Do you like the 2007 TMNT movie? Yeah, the animated one. Yeah, that one's good. I like it. I actually have it. I have it on DVD. It's a fun movie to watch from time to time. Superman wasn't about Superman. Always been about James Gunn. Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. That's what it was. Let's see. 2007 TMNT was peak for me. Nice. Nice, nice. Vegeta, what's up? Just here hanging out. Thanks for joining us also. Um, in this year, all WB movies made profit. That's what they say. But again, remember their debt is higher than their profit, so that's it's been hurting them in the long run. So whatever quote unquote profit they make, it's just going back into the debt that they have to pay off. So technically, they're not really making a profit. Making profits so they could pay off their debt, but it's not enough. I'm writing a song in 2026. Nice, nice, good, good, nice, nice work. Can't wait. Nice. Let's see. I hear James Gunn will do Joker gangs pick on Gotham City, Clayface, but who cares? Exactly. Who cares? What did you miss? I mean, a lot. We're like straight up 2 hours in, so yeah, pretty much just talking about this. So I guess once it's done, just go rewatch it if you can. I know 2 hours is a long time, but it's fun hanging out with y'all live. So that's the cool part about this. I cannot wait to start reading your comic, bro. Appreciate that. That's gonna be a done deal very soon. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. I'm aiming for the 30th, but at the way and the rate that I'm working on it, I probably might have everything by probably within the next week, maybe week and a half. So for sure, it's probably gonna come out before the 30th. That's for sure. So that's gonna be a nice thing that I can't wait to finally release with y'all and stuff like that. So, if you pre-order your copy now, you'll be able to get it before release date. So that's the advantage. Whoever wants to pre-order it, make sure to pre-order. It's only $4.50. You cannot beat that. Straight up under $5, yo. Like straight up, that's even cheaper than buying a DC comic, honestly, or a Marvel comic. And you're gonna get some good content. I'm telling you right now, y'all gonna get some real good solid entertainment on that. I can't wait for y'all to read it, honestly. And once y'all check it out, I can't wait till we can actually start talking about all that and like, oh man, this is gonna be good. I can't wait. I can't wait. I've been putting a lot of work onto that, and it's gonna be very fun. Very fun. Best part about it, there's no agenda, no message. There's none of that crap. It's all just good entertainment. That's it. Let's see. Gunboy's already panicking with Paramount bidding. Yep, yeah. They are. They are. I've seen a few videos. They're straight up crying. They are crying. They really are. They can't take the heat. They know that their DCU's coming to an end. And it's interesting how somebody just said that once James Gunn's he found out that if somebody buys it like Paramount, that he's gonna quit. Good, can't wait. I wonder why. He knows what's up. He knows he doesn't have a stable, position at WB. Do you think Clayface will make bad CG? Yeah, I think they're gonna go with bad CG like they did in the Flash. I don't think it's gonna be good. I really don't. I'm still not gonna watch Clayface for next fall. Nah, neither me. I don't plan on watching that. I don't plan on watching anything in 2026 of DC. Honestly, we should do the same thing. And I'm probably not gonna really be talking much about it, just to not give them free publicity. I think that was one big mistake that we did. That we were all talking and over talking about Superman, and that sparked everybody's curiosity. I know that movie would have done much less if we really would have never been giving it the attention that they wanted and stuff. So it is what it is. Do you know Amazing Luca's YouTube channel? Nope, never heard of him. There's so many YouTubers, it's hard to keep up with. Probably I seen the video, but I just can't right now. I'm not watching any movies in September 2025. It's not good. Yeah, man. They should have brought out that Mortal Kombat, man. I'm still like, damn, they should have just brought it out next month. But WB just doing WB. Did you hear what happened to Charlie Kirk? Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's nuts, man. But yeah, that's crazy. I'm liking the new Frankenstein movie. Nice. I'm not into Frankenstein, but if you like it, cool. One Punch Man season 3 is coming October 5th. Oh, okay, nice. That's like in like what 3 weeks or something like that. It's right around the corner. Rumors if Paramount buys WB Gun is out. I can't wait. I really can't wait. Hopefully Paramount buys them, or either Comcast or Netflix, whoever. The thing is that we need new ownership. That's for sure. We really need new ownership. I wonder if Paramount would allow Robert Pattinson to get more movies, unlike Gunn's direction. Who knows? Maybe they might do stuff with him. I mean, but Robert Pattinson doesn't really bring in people like that. Look at Mickey. What it was, Mickey 17. That movie didn't do good at the box office. That movie it didn't do well. So and that's Robert Pattinson, which is the Batman. That didn't help him. Let's see. DC fired that anime abomination of being after 24 hours and can it Red Hood series. Yeah, I saw they did the good thing. They did the right thing, honestly. So much heat that they got from. I'm glad they did that, honestly. That's how you clean house. But just like that, you got a bunch of people inside of WB that are still like that with the same type of agendas and stuff. So that's what's ruining this industry, honestly, unfortunately. Spy Family season 3 also October 4th. Damn, they're dropping everything back to back. damn, they're just like pre-orders with freaking toys now. Like shit, everything's coming back to back. They're not playing. Robert Pattinson is not a star. Yeah, nah. Unless they do another Twilight, that's the only thing that women will go out and see. I know James Gunn tried to have Robin and Clayface picks about Brave and Bold. Uh, I don't know that they're saying that that's what they want to have, but who knows at this point? Who knows what they want to do? If they even want to bring him. First they say yeah, then they say no. I mean, I don't know. They're just completely. I don't know. They say one thing and then it's the other. So I really don't know honestly. I know James Gunn tried to Robin. Okay, so that one. Let me see. Did you hear H.E. got hurt when filming? Yeah, Henry Cavill he got hurt. Yeah, I saw. What was it that happened to him though? Because I didn't really look into it, but yeah, I did see that he got injured or something. Hopefully, he's not that bad and stuff like that. Man, sucks. Sucks to hear that, but this is why sometimes they have stunts because of that to avoid that. So it happens. This is movie business. That's these things tend to happen sometimes. Hopefully, it wasn't that bad. The scene from Peacemaker season 2, episode 1 is very insane. Oh no! Please don't tell me there's another orgy scene. Let's see. Superman gun is Tony LC sign. And you check out the sign. I know what you're talking about. That Tony dude. He's hilarious. He is hilarious, man. Man, yeah. It's crazy. I'm telling you, man. Like it's nuts. It's nuts how things are going. But at the same time, I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. I'm excited. I'm excited for change. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. What's gonna be the future of the end, but the beginning of what WB could be under new ownership. You know, I think it's something that we all want. I think it's something we all deserve. I mean, we're the fans, customers, and consumers, and I think it's best for business at this point. WB has done so much. They've stretched out so much, but I think the balloon's about to bust in the sense of they can't do anything anymore. It's how do you say it's a done deal. Sell it. They need to sell it. And I think that's the best route that they can do and stuff like that. So in the end, I think they're gonna have to sell. David Zaslav's just gonna be like, screw it, I'm gonna sell. James Gunn's gonna have to go back to Disney if Disney even wants him, but we know they'll still take him because of Guardians of the Galaxy and whatever the hell. And Peter Safran, he's gonna do his thing because that's what rumor has it that he just wants to focus on his studio and his production, thing. So that's good for him. Let him do his thing. He's been quiet. Notice that he's been quiet, and that says a lot too. So you know, we'll see. We'll see what's gonna happen and stuff like that. Um, yeah, you already know it. We're still the Rock, Snyder, Ben Affleck, and Michael Keaton verse. A lot of things are gonna come from this. Whoever buys it, I'm telling you that there's gonna be some massive changes. James Gunn, his toxic James Gunn cultists are jealous. Yeah, yeah, they are. They are. They know that they can't stop us. They know we're not stopping, and they have to accept it. They have to, honestly. I can only focus on restoring the Bayverse. Yeah, man, I can't wait. I really cannot wait to see what Michael Bay is gonna be cooking. Damn, I can't wait. Honestly, yo, like straight up. Damn, we need another Michael Bay movie with Transformers. Honestly, I just like don't get me wrong. The last three movies they were, but just look. Just the other day, I was rewatching not Dark of the Moon, Revenge of the Fallen, and I'm like, damn, yo, like how did the studio not continue with this? Like back then Paramount was like, oh no, they also did like WB, like, oh, we can't do that because the fans are not, oh, it's too dark, it's too strong. Yo, this is what I like. This is what I'm enjoying. Like this is dope. Once they did what they did with Bumblebee, low key woke movie. I don't care what anybody tells me. That's what Bumblebee was. The strong female empowerment. That's the message on that one. What we got with Transformers One, nah, that just wasn't for me. And Rise of the Beast was okay, but I don't know. It was missing something. It just I don't know. It just didn't feel like a Transformers movie. Um, I mean, let's be real. With Michael Bay, he was cooking. Dude was cooking with Transformers, man. He knows how to give you the camera angles, the shots. Like Like everything just fits. Yes, it's cheesy, it has stupid jokes on it, but that's what it is. It's always been since the beginning like that with his movies. I like it. I like what he gives us with those movies and stuff, and just showing. I like when you see these movies after all these years, the technology still hold up to this day. I'm like, damn, those graphics still look good. You see what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, it's been 20 years and that's still holding up. Like if it was like in the past 8 years, and I'm like, that is nuts. Like it's just the music, like everything when everything just at the right moment, everything just strikes, the explosions, the unnecessary explosions. I'm like, that's Transformers. That's what I like. That's what I want to see. Like, and I get it. Some fans that are like G1, I like G1 too, but in toys and comics and stuff like that. But live action, I like what Michael Bay was giving us. I love it. I love it. I love it. Like I just love it. I need more. Like I'm straight up like I want more of that vision and that version. Especially when you have, you hear Imagine Dragons pop in and you hear Linkin Park. I'm like, that's Transformers. It's just something about, of that brand, and then you hear the freaking score. It was just fitting, and the same thing with the Snyderverse. When you see what Zach was giving us with Batman versus Superman, what we saw with Man of Steel, and what we saw with the Snyder Cut, it's like, damn, yo, like how does the studio not want to move forward with this? Like we're talking about pure quality right there. Like, damn, like how do you stop that? And then you're like, no, we're not gonna do that, but instead we're gonna move forward with what James Gunn is doing. Like, what? Like, how? Like, yo, that makes no sense, man. Like, it really doesn't make no sense. That's why I'm like, I just can't. I'm not excited for anything that DC's putting out no more. I'm just not. Like, I'm not even buying none of the merchandise for none of the new stuff they're putting out, and I'm like, if it ain't Snyder related, I ain't buying it. Honestly, I'm just not. Like those Superman toys, I'm not interested in that. All that merchandise, I'm not interested in that. It's just not for me. And a lot of people are like that. They're just not feeling it. And there's no superhero fatigue. It's just people are just tired of all this nonsense. That's the that's the thing when it comes to it and stuff like that. So it is what it is. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Matt Reeves is taking forever. With the Batman 2 was taking way too long, honestly. I don't really care, honestly. Do you think James Gunn do Batman Arkham game reboot? Yes or no? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think he's gonna be involved in that. Bayformers is what we saw in Iron Man 1 to 3. Yeah, exactly. Like I enjoy that. I really enjoyed every moment of what Michael Bay gave us with the Transformers, with the Bayformers and stuff. Rumors suggest that PlayStation 6 will launch with a detachable module disk drive. Did you hear about that? Yeah, I heard about that. I mean, this is why they're trying to notice how with the PS5 that they had two versions of it, because they're just doing what is it? They're seeing their demographics in the sense of, let's see what sells more. Everybody wanted the disc one, but then when they brought out the one without the disc, they didn't sell as good as the one with the disc. And then we see what we have now with the Pro, the PS5 Pro. Um, they sell it, what is it, digital, in the sense where you play digital games, but if you want to add on the disc, they can tax us more. And then now seeing that they raise the prices on it, like it's even worse. It's like, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I think I'm gonna wait for PS6 for a while, even when it does release, just because it's like, yo, we have the PS5 and we don't even have good games for PS5. Honestly, everything is just retooled or rewashed from PS4. I'm like, yo, what the hell? Where's the PS5 real good titles? None. It's like I feel that PS5 was rushed in the sense of PS4 Pro. They're still advertising games for PS4. I'm like, I just got an ad earlier for Marvel Rivals, and they're pushing PS4 so hard on it. And I'm like, why? Why are we even pushing PS4? Like, let's focus on PS5. Watch when PS6 comes out. They're still gonna be pushing PS4 and PS5, and I'm like, yo, what the hell, man? Honestly, like I don't know. I don't know what the hell they're gonna be doing. Honestly, like the gaming industry is just another thing too that needs to be fixed. But who knows, man? Honestly, nothing can stop us from restoring the greatness. Yep, exactly. That's why we will stop at nothing. I'm coming to look forward to PS6 in the near future. Yeah, I am too. I want to see what they're gonna do with it. Is Angry Joe might be shot with Clayface from Batman Robert Pattinson after 2026. Angry Joe, man, I'm surprised. Like, dude's got to be taking some serious heart, what is it, blood pressure medication because he be losing his cool. Regarding DC Toys, they're mid too, thanks to McFarlane. Yeah, once Mattel takes over, I want to see what they're gonna be doing coming next year. So this should be interesting, and I'm waiting. We're all waiting for this McFarlane Batmobile from Batman versus Superman. We haven't had no updates. They charged us like probably like a few weeks ago. I'm like, yo, come on, McFarlane. Like, I need my Batman versus Superman Batmobile already. With that crowdfunding. Hopefully, I don't know when they're gonna release that. What do you think about Dodge Charger Daytona EV and the upcoming Dodge Charger six pack with a 3.0 Hurricane Twin Turbo, i6 or L6? I'm not really a Dodge person, but I know, well, with the twin turbo, yo, to each their own, I guess. Like I don't really like Dodge like that. I'm more of a Chevy person, if you want to say. But Dodge, I mean, they got some good stuff and things like that. So, one thing I do want to say, spoiler but not spoiler. All right, I'm just gonna put this out here. When you read my comic, you will enjoy something in there because the hero that we're gonna be following, I'm telling you right now, he drives a badass truck. That's all I'm gonna say. So when you see it in the comic, you're gonna be like, damn, like this is gonna be badass. I can't wait. I really can't wait. Do you know Emergency Awesome? He talks about DCU. Yeah, I know who he is. I've been watching his videos sometimes. He's cool. He be talking about good stuff. Sometimes he breaks it down really good. So he does his homework real good. It restores SnyderVerse. I'm not thinking about buying another console for a while. I'll pass. Yeah, same thing. I have not bought the Switch 2 because the Switch 1 is still going, and I'm like, I don't care about the Switch 2. I'll probably wait for like the Switch 2 maybe later, but nah, I'm still good with it. Do you think we'll get a new Simpsons game for PS6 and Xbox? Nah, I doubt it. I doubt we're gonna get anything with Simpsons lately. It's been a while, and I don't think they're even focusing on that. Mattel must bring back the 6 inch. That's what they're bringing. Supposedly, they said. Marvel Legends scale articulation accessories. No more stupid gold label exclusive and chases. Yeah, I am sick and tired of all the gold label exclusive and chases. Man, I'm so tired of that with McFarlane. Everywhere with McFarlane, it that's what's ruining. Honestly, like trying to buy stuff from him because it just it's a Chase or it's a Target exclusive, Walmart exclusive. It's like, yo, what the hell? I'm never gonna see this in any store, and it's like it's hard. It's really really tough with them. So hopefully, I know with Mattel they're not about that. Hopefully they don't end up doing nothing with that either. So we'll see what they put out. But I'm excited to see what they're gonna do. We need a Destro versus Red Hood movie. That would be interesting. That animated or live action? Animated would be dope, honestly. I don't oppose a live action, but I think animated would be nice to see that. We also need to get Kathleen Kennedy fired from Lucas and Disney. Yeah, yeah. I know a lot of Star Wars fans. They're not happy with her, and she straight up destroyed, Star Wars, and it's crazy because she's still there. Her and James Gunn have something in common. They both are good at destroying whatever the hell they're touching and stuff. Which is it's a shame, but that's what unfortunately these companies end up hiring and stuff like that. So it is what it is. Ronaldo, what's up? You're back. Nice, thank you for watching. Also, do you know Naomi on Mickey 17? She might be Clayface. She sucks. Oh man, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know honestly. Uh, we'll see. We'll see what happens and stuff. So, um, like I said, I'm excited to see what WB in the end is going to pull. Because look, David Zaslav could be very dumb and say, you know what, I'm not going to accept any offer and I'm just going to stay with it. It could happen. Let's be realistic. It could happen. The same way that, these studios are preparing to bid, Warner Brothers in the end can also decline all three or whoever wants to come. They can decline and say, you know what? no, we're not gonna sell, which would be bad for business on their end, because I'm gonna be honest with you. This is what I think is gonna happen if WB doesn't accept any offer from any of these three studios or whoever wants to buy them. I'm gonna tell you right now, we're going to be seeing more layoffs within Warner Brothers. We're going to be seeing more cancellations, and we're going to be seeing them selling more of their assets, meaning like small IPs and things like that, TV shows, you know, things like that, slowly as they fall apart. And in the end, I think they're just gonna hold on to DC, of course, like Harry Potter and these big IPs that they know it's gonna bring them money. But I think that if they do not sell and they do not accept that offer, it's straight up a bad business move on their part, and it will just show you how much of their ego that they have, because they would rather go down, you know, with the sinking company instead of selling it. And I think this is just me. I'm looking at it from a realistic point of view also. The what if they don't sell? What if they don't agree and sell it? You know, we're going to be seeing more layoffs. We're going to be seeing a lot more, you know, departments being closed within Warner Brothers. You can kiss by could buy a lot of movies that we won't be seeing, and a lot of cancellations just because they're going to try to save money and cut corners and say, you know what, like they're trying to spend probably 20 million to do a big budget movie, when in reality you can't do crap with 20 million. Like this 20 million is probably like 10 million is going to go to production and probably the costs of locations and stuff like that, and probably you have 10 million to play with. So it's like it's wild, and they're going to probably hire like very unknown actors and actresses. They're gonna really do some terrible CG if they do anything. They can't really do practical stuff just because it's so expensive. Because it's not cheap when you get like like explosions or or fireworks and things like that. Those things, they're very expensive. And then you got to hire also like a third party for safety, and it's just crazy. And insurance, liabilities, all this stuff. It all adds up. It all adds up. And I don't know, but if they don't sell, it's going to be bad. Meaning for them, for the brand, for the company, just overall everything, because they need to. They really, really need to sell all of that. It's gonna be crazy. But I think, yeah, we're gonna be seeing a lot of layoffs from Disney as well. Yeah, that's for sure. For sure, that's coming. That's for sure. Sometime probably before the end of the year, we're gonna be hearing it, because that's the end of the year. They're gonna be cutting budgets, and it's just BS just for them to save money, just because it's the holiday season. So that's the time they tend to lay off people and stuff like that. So it sucks. It sucks. It really does. But we will see what's gonna happen with them. Tyler CW David. No hate to David. Yeah. Without Bob, there is no Super Mario. Yeah. Oh man, yeah, for sure. Tyler, Superman's way better than James Gunn. Yep, yep. Comcast, I think, will buy WB. Yeah, I think Comcast has the lead, and I'll tell you real fast why. Just because they're going already all in with that HBO Max, not partnership, not merger, but affiliate, I guess you want to say. Whatever it is that they're doing with HBO Max, that's going to kick off in January. I think they already have their foot deep inside of Warner Brothers Studios. I think I think in the end, Comcast low key is going to end up buying them. I think that's what's going to happen. Um, I don't know why, but I just something tells me that that's who's going to end up getting them. Chris Evans and Steve Rogers is way better than Sam Wilson's job as Captain America. Yeah, big time, for sure, for sure. Supposedly he's going to be coming for Doomsday. Notice how Disney's going back and bringing all of these actors and actresses, um, and they're going to go all out for Secret Wars. That whole thing of Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson won't be back because her character died in Infinity War. That's BS. She's gonna be back for Secret Wars. You'll see. They're gonna have everybody. Everybody's gonna be in Secret Wars. Secret Wars is going to be nuts. Like it's gonna be so massive. Damn. Like originally they wanted to do a two-part. I don't know if they're still gonna do a two-part, but if they do that, I think that's the plan. They're gonna have so many variants of all these characters and stuff like that. So that would be it's gonna be fun to see that. Do you like Doctor Doom mask? Yeah, it seems cool. I like what they did with it. So what they're doing so far is it's looking good. I have the same feeling about Comcast too. Yeah, I think honestly in reality, I think Comcast in the end is gonna be low key the winner. Um, I don't know why. Um, and think about it. Think about it too. Look, let's look at this point of view also. Paramount already has a streaming service. Why would they? I mean, besides the greed, why would they also want HBO Max? I know to make money and to put streaming services and whatever it is, but damn, two streaming services? I mean, that's what Disney is doing right now with Hulu also, but they're shutting down Hulu, so that tells you everything too. And Comcast, they don't have a streaming service. They'll be the only ones right now. They're right now the only ones in the industry that doesn't have a streaming service, at least on this level. Paramount has one, Netflix, of course, but Comcast doesn't have anything. Let's just speculate. Let's speculate real fast. Speculation sometimes is fun. Let's speculate it now that we're talking about this. With your comment, light skin. Um, Imagine Comcast does acquire Warner Brothers, or at least the HBO Max division, right? They could still restore SnyderVerse, and do that alternative DC content for HBO Max. Some might say, "Oh, I want the theatrical release." I do too, but I would take it on streaming any day over nothing. And they could do a Batman series with Ben Affleck. Hell, they could do the movie leading up to Deathstroke versus Batman, or they just want to do that like a series. Go for it. Um, they could do Man of Steel 2 just for that, and it'll be cheaper because we're talking about streaming. You don't have to spend so much because you're gonna stream it. It's a lot cheaper. The production. Notice how that's how they're doing Peacemaker too. They're cheap. They're doing it cheaper, but the only thing is barely anybody's watching Peacemaker. Now you announce Snyderverse related, content. They're gonna subscribe to you, and the same thing you releasing the Air cut on HBO Max the same way we got the Snyder cut. That's a double win right there. People are gonna come for that. Hell, you wanna like add the cherry on top? Go ahead and release Batgirl. Release it for free. Subscribe to HBO Max, and you get your free membership or whatever. For signing up for a certain amount of time. Um, you get to see Batgirl for free. Yo, that's gonna bring in people. People are gonna want to watch that. That would be a huge win on that part. And the possibilities are endless. They could do so much, a lot with that. Deadpool Wolverine Toby is the only reason to watch Doomsday for me, at least for me. Yeah. Um, yeah, I can't wait to see. Hopefully, Andrew Garfield's back too. Like I said, Paramount's got that messes up as well as rebooting DC Studios. WB Forever is done. We'll have the same fate as Disney. Yeah, that could happen also. That could happen also. Yeah, they did mess up with the Transformers brand, so that's also a red flag right there too. Whichever one has good relationship with Zach is the best chance of restore. Yeah, exactly. Whoever is willing to do it and wants to do it, just do it. That's all I care about. I might be getting Paramount next year because my brother watches UFC. Cool, cool. I don't even have it honestly. I think Jeffrey Wright will leave Batman 2 about James Gunn's DCU. Probably this might be the last one that we might even see, if it even makes it to. If DC is rebooted, they can't listen to the posers who want DC to be like MCU tone. Yeah, they cannot. They cannot do that. What do you think of the new Ben Affleck movie trailer? Looks good. That looks good. The one with Matt Damon. That looks pretty cool. I want to check that out. I wish Jared Leto. I want to see his creepy Joker, big smile, long hair, make amazing Joker on big screen. Yeah, I want to see. I want to see him back as Joker. I'll be real with y'all, man. If this comic that I got would pick up to that level, yo, I'm bringing all those actors and actresses. Shoot, I want all that to be straight up in this vision that I'm working on and stuff. Guys, I'm gonna take a rest. Good night. Yeah, good night, Ram Warrior. Appreciate you for watching. Yeah, I'm about to get going. I know it's been a long one, but it's been fun. It's been good. We're just here chilling, hanging out, and stuff like that. And like I always appreciate y'all, because this is something we talk about. We enjoy talking about and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Have a good one also. Because honestly, this is uh this is something that we're all interested in. This is it has all of our attention, and and you know we want to know what's gonna happen. Because we care about these characters. We care about the brand. If we didn't, we wouldn't be talking about it. That's the difference. And that's the thing that some fans have to understand and realize. Look, we talk about it because we care about it. I love Batman. I love Wonder Woman. I love Superman. I love these characters, and just like that, a lot of us do. At least when it comes to the DC side. And I don't like what James Gunn is doing. I don't like what they're doing with the brand right now. But it is what it is. So what can we do? But yeah. So yeah. See y'all. Have a good night to everybody. What do you think Zack Snyder will be in? I don't know, but whatever it is that they put out, so be it. We've been true DC fan for over 20 years. These posers not even been a fan for 5. Yeah, exactly, exactly. I agree with you, my friend. Real big talk. But yeah, man. With that, I'm about to get going. I appreciate y'all for watching. Thank y'all for watching. I know it's been a long. What is it? 2 hours and 30 minutes. Damn. That's been fun. It's been real good. We've been chatting, talking, and we're gonna keep posted, stay updated, all this good stuff. And I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Tomorrow we'll talk about some other stuff, if anything, but or anything, another open topic and things like that. But at least we talked about this, which is very important. That's the good thing and stuff like that. I'm about to go get some rest myself too, just chill and probably watch a movie or something like that. Probably go watch Transformers or something. But yeah, with that, thank y'all for watching. Y'all stay safe. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Peace.